Hey everybody, welcome. It's Tuesday. It's like 7:03. We almost started on time for once, but I'm sorry. We continue to start late. Sorry about that.
Life happens.
It does happen. But yeah, welcome. I'll get my camera right. This is AEW Weekly, bringing you all the latest in AEW news, um, recaps, previews of matches. We have our top 5 rankings and a lot more. Tonight's show we're going to do a little differently than usual, so just stick with us. Some of your usual segments will be here, but there's going to be a couple new ones, so just stick with us. And we're going to do a shorter show than we did the last 2 weeks for sure. We did like a 3-hour show and a 2:15 show, so we're going to be shorter. Gonna try and be shorter from now on. Just pack it all in. So yeah. So this is No Bones About Wrestling. I should introduce us, I guess. And I am your host, Asa, and I'm here with the hostess with the mostest, Kay Fabulous.
Hello.
All right. And yeah, this is AEW Weekly. We do it every Tuesday at 7 p.m. And I'll tell you real quick before we start, this week is packed for us and for you as an AEW fan, but especially if you like watching us, if you care what we have to say, we're doing, of course, this show right now. We're doing Dynamite Watch Along at 7:55 tomorrow night. We're doing an all out. That'll be with Wolf, our friend. We're doing an all out preview and prediction show for the prestigious No Bones About Wrestling Prediction Championship belt. That prediction show is Thursday at 7 p.m. We're doing a watch along for Collision and Rampage, and that is Friday at 7:55 p.m. And our friend Wolf will be on all this. And we're doing a watch along for All Out, and that'll start at 6:55 p.m. Saturday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday will be on. And if you didn't catch all that, I'm going to post it on X. May post it elsewhere. I'm going to start posting more things elsewhere, but that schedule for this week will definitely be on X. All right, let's get started. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to get started with our TV recaps, and we're going to start with AEW Dynamite, which was August 28th in Champaign, Illinois. All right, let's see. And the opener, I'm sorry, just adjusting my camera. The opener, Hangman Adam Page, former world champion, back on the scene now. He pinned Tomohiro Ishii after hitting a buckshot lariat. Great finisher move that CM Punk botched that one time. That's a famous try of the buckshot. CM Punk, of course, on all our minds. This past week was the 1-year anniversary of when the All In shit happened last year when he assaulted Jack Perry and got fired. Anyways, he and Adam Page did not get along either. But yeah, so Adam Page pinned Ishii after hitting a buckshot lariat. This match was boring. Ishii, we don't really care for him, honestly. A lot of his matches are boring. He no sells everything, and that's fucking boring to watch. That's not why we watch pro wrestling, to see somebody pretend like it doesn't hurt. I don't know what the point of that is. Bless you.
Thank you.
I don't know what the point of that is. I mean, it can be fun sometimes with Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania. Sting did it from time to time, but you can't do it the whole fucking match, your whole life. It doesn't mean anything then, and it makes it boring. So like I said, this match, not good. 1 bone out of 5, which is one of the lowest ratings I've ever given out. Just nothing. Up next, we had a real quick Swerve Strickland Hangman promo segment. Of course, they're going to be in a steel cage at All Out this Saturday. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later. Up next, we had Jamie Hayter back, former Women's World Champion, back in the mix. Good to see her back. She took on Harley Cameron, and Hayter pinned Cameron after a lariat. So 2 matches in a row ending with lariats on Dynamite. And this match, it was good. Nothing really wrong with it. Just one-sided. It was obvious Hayter was going to win. I gave this one 3 bones out of 5. Up next, we had a long MJF segment. MJF declared he is no longer a United States citizen. The only place he cares about is Long Island, and he's a citizen of there. He was very forlorn. And then Daniel Garcia came out, said he's the one who stole the Dynamite Diamond Ring. He pawned it off in Buffalo for something or other. And
Somebody stick it all in.
Thank you. Yep. So he could ruin the biggest day of MJF's life. Yeah, that's what he said. So those two are fighting it all out Saturday as well.
Wouldn't you argue that the previous year, when he was in a world title match at All In, would be the biggest day of his life?
Yes, definitely.
Plus, there were 80,000 people there last year.
Correct.
And he was in the main event.
Correct. So you could argue it was the second. Well, the only thing you might argue is the MJF Ospreay match was a lot better than last year's MJF Adam Cole main event.
Fuck yeah, it was. Yeah.
So in that way, that he needed to have his game up, he needed to have his performance at a high level. In that way, it was the most important day of his career, maybe. So if you look at it that way, just if you got to hang with Will Ospreay, and vice versa, if Ospreay has to hang with MJF, they both need to come in at a high mental and physical level, So yeah, in that way, kind of the biggest day of his career, maybe.
More than facing a multi-time WWE world champion.
Who?
CM Punk.
I think when you put it in with the crowd, like he and Ospreay, there's 46,000 people there.
Yeah.
I think when you combine that, Ospreay, I think is, like I said, to me, he's the best wrestler in the world right now. That's an opinion, but you have to put him in the top 10 or you're not watching wrestling. But yeah, I think when you combine his match against Ospreay with a crowd of 46,000, I mean, we could argue. You could argue it. Yeah, I mean, you could argue that CM Punk, his match with CM Punk, had more eyes on it. I'm not sure if that would be correct. More television eyes on it, perhaps. Not sure if that would be correct or not. I don't have those numbers right now. But as far as being highly esteemed, CM Punk was one of the biggest stars they've had. Chris Jericho, I would say, is a bigger star than CM Punk. Just overall.
I'd say he's a bigger star, but I'd say CM Punk was a more popular star.
I don't know about that. But yeah. So CM Punk's one of the bigger stars they've had. Moxley, Jericho, CM Punk. Someone I'm forgetting, I'm sure.
Kenny Omega.
Cody Rhodes?
Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes, yes, yeah. But what's weird is he wasn't that popular when his AEW run. He didn't like the way he was presented in AEW, and the way he was booked is what I've read, and that's why he left for WWE. I mean, that and of course a fat sack of cash. But that's what I read. I mean, Vince McMahon flies to you personally and tells you you're going to win the world title in the main event of WrestleMania. I imagine that might be hard to turn down for a lot of guys. For anyone, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like I said, from a certain perspective, it was the biggest day of his life. But you can debate that about MJF, right? Whether it was or not. Yeah. But that's what Daniel Garcia said. He wanted to ruin the biggest day of MJF's life. That's why they're fighting it all out. Next on Dynamite, we had an 8-man tag. Very good match. FTW champion Hook teamed up with Ring of Honor World Champion Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, and Orange Cassidy. And they beat the Learning Tree plus Roderick Strong. So Chris Jericho, Big Bill, who the fans loved once again, Brian Keith, and Roderick Strong, former international champion there. And of course, Jericho, as we said, former Undisputed World Champion, AEW World Champion, etc., etc. He's done it all. But yeah, Big Bill, another guy I've talked about forever, needing a bigger push. I think the audience seems to want it, and I hope he gets it. This match, very good. 4.5 bones out of 5. And the main event on Dynamite, the debuting Ricochet, former belt holder of several things in that other company up north. Ricochet pinned Kyle Fletcher after a lifting reverse DDT. Excellent match. 4.5 bones out of 5. And Ricochet versus Kyle Fletcher was the Dynamite match of the night.
That match did not hook me like I expected it to.
I agree. Yeah.
Like it was very jarring to me.
What do you
like,
mean?
Like I expected it to be like one of the best matches I've ever seen in AEW.
Yeah.
And it was good, but it was like nowhere close to one of the best matches I've seen in AEW. And they're both excellent. And so I just feel like they just like didn't quite click like they should.
I hear what you're saying. And to my knowledge, it was the first time they've ever fought each other. I could be wrong there, but like I said, to my knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of times when guys, hook up for the first time in a match, for the first time in their careers,
Mm-hmm.
it could be a little
awkward.
Awkward, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Could be a little awkward. I'm going to knock your coffee down if you leave it there.
Pardon me, I'm just don't knock it over while I move the table.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of hand gestures. I'm gonna spill her coffee over both of us and my notes if she doesn't move it. But yeah, a lot of times it can be awkward when people are first, especially when you're both excellent and there's pressure. Like everybody expected a great match.
Yeah.
Obviously, Fletcher is one of their great young guys who keeps getting better and better. I feel like, and Ricochet, of course, again, one guy I would call one of the best wrestlers in the world, like in the top 10 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people haven't seen, if they've just seen him in the other company up north.
Just you wait.
Yeah, just you wait. I don't think you realize what this guy is capable of. If you look up his Lucha Underground stuff or some of his stuff in other companies, you'll see what Ricochet can really do. When he was Prince Puma, or known as like King Ricochet, he was, or just known as Ricochet. But yeah, my point is, I hear what you're saying about Fletcher and Ricochet in this match on Dynamite. It wasn't as good as I expected, but like I said, it was still 4.5 bones out of 5. Yeah. And I gave it the match of the night. Did you think the 8-man tag was better?
No, I did think one of the collision matches was better.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to that. So Rampage from Champaign, Illinois, August 30th. Started off with a triple threat tag team match, 2-on-2-on-2. It was Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, former world champion, WCW world champion Jeff Jarrett, teamed with former Ring of Honor world champion Jay Lethal, and they took on Private Party, and they took on the Undisputed Kingdom, former Ring of Honor tag champs. And Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal came out, who tagged together a bit. If you'll remember, in Ric Flair's last match, it was Flair and Andrade versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. So these guys are not a new team.
Well, they've tagged in AEW also.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's not a new team.
Yeah,
That's my point. Fazby saying that 4-way men's match was fire. Which match are you talking about? Are you talking about on Rampage?
Yeah.
We'll get there in a minute.
Yeah.
I think he's talking about the Rampage match.
Yeah, that's the only 4-way men's.
Up next, the Rev Pro Women's Champion. That's a British company. Revolution Pro. Mina Shirakawa. This was a non-title match. She pinned Asa Kay after a driver of some sort. I don't know the name of it. But then she pinned her and won. This was a squash, very short match. Kind of pointless to have on. Mina Shirakawa just came out and danced and shook her ass and her tits around a bit, and they did the match, and that was it.
Is Asa Kay from not America?
I don't know.
That's a super weird first name to choose if you are from America.
Missa. It's like Mr. It's like somebody from the South saying Mr.
Yeah.
Missa. All right, up next. Newer team to AEW. Very popular with people who like the independent scene, and we actually saw them in person about 6 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. The Grizzled Young Veterans. They beat the Outrunners. The Outrunners, a team we just love, and I think more and more people are really getting on board with what they do. This like retro 1980s act.
We just need to get Tony Khan on board and start booking them.
Exactly. Yeah.
The way they need to be booked.
Yeah, I don't think
as winners.
Yeah, I don't think they have won one match in AEW. I'm pretty sure they haven't.
I'm also pretty sure they haven't.
So that sucks.
Yeah.
And speaking of not winning, AEW has stopped putting wrestler on the roster page online. They've stopped putting wrestlers' records on there, which is kind of disappointing because they had been keeping records of everyone's wins, losses, ties, for the whole time they've been a promotion, and now they're gone off the roster page. So I think their earlier ambition of presenting this pro wrestling company as a legit sport, more like a legit sport, I guess is gone, is going away.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too.
I feel like
Because
you're just like boxing yourself in.
Exactly. Because that's not what pro wrestling is. If something's hot, you got to go with it. If the guy has 2 wins and 5 losses, but the crowd loves him, doesn't fucking matter. You got to go with him.
Mhm.
You got to go with what the crowds are going to pay money to see.
Yeah.
So right, if you box yourself in with all these rankings, these official rankings, you box yourself in. You're doing a disservice, and it's just going to get confusing to people.
Mhm.
And I think that's why they've done away with it.
I think the most shocking thing is that AEW updated their website.
Why is that shocking?
Because I went on their website to pull their title histories, and the FTW champ was like Ricky Starks or some shit, like something from like a million years ago.
Yeah, that's a shame. And speaking of which, coming up this week on our site, you'll be able to www.nobonesabout.com. You'll be able to go and read all the AEW title histories. Those are going to be up there, and we'll keep them updated. And we're going to have the results of every AEW pay-per-view and a lot of the big AEW Dynamite shows that get names.
No, it's not a lot. Every special episode of anything that they've done
Awesome, yes.
has all the match results.
So yeah, all the big TV shows and all the pay-per-views. And Kay Fabulous was kind enough to put all this together. So yeah, this week I'll make an announcement on X.
Like 38 pages for just like the special television episodes, because there's been so many. It's from like 2019 when they started being on TV to now.
So yeah, Kay Fabulous spent a lot of time doing that. So I'll make an announcement. Yeah, I'll make an announcement on X this week when it goes up on our website, www.nobonesabout.com. And you can go and check out her lovely work, putting all these pay-per-view results and putting all these, large event results. That's our dog Ripley. Everything's okay. And putting these, big TV show results online. Because even AEW doesn't have this list of things on their website. And as Kay said, they don't keep all their title histories up to date. So we'll do it because they don't. So yeah.
Most of them were, in their defense, the FTW is the only one that wasn't totally up to date.
Anyway, so back to Rampage. Grizzled Young Veterans beat the Outrunners after they hit the Doomsday device on Truth Magnum and flipped him all the fucking way around. Pretty tough looking Doomsday device. Of course, the Road Warriors, the Legion of Doom, popularized that in the 80s and 90s. Best tag team of all time. The Legion of Doom for me.
May I quickly say one thing about the Grizzled Young Vets here?
Okay.
Because I'm not doing a fashion segment this week because there was not enough intriguing fashion to comment on.
Okay.
My one fashion complaint that I need to just file, I don't know the dudes' names because they're new, but the long-haired grizzled young vet, they have the fucking word grizzled in their name, and he has like luxurious, clean, soft, flowy, like wavy hair that he flips around all the time like he's in a shampoo ad.
Yeah.
Like grizzled.
Right.
Grizzled.
Yeah, the name.
It's in the name.
The name doesn't seem to fit them.
No.
They don't seem grizzled
at all.
At all.
Like maybe there's 5 o'clock shadow involved sometimes, but like that's not grizzled.
But yeah, it's
lazy.
Yeah, and the Young Veterans, that's stupid too. Their whole fucking name is stupid. Let's.
Do they go? They don't go by veterans though. They go by Grizzled Young Vets.
Whatever, but that's short for veterans.
I'm aware, but
it's not short for veterinarian.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome if they're just grizzled veterinarians.
Like a whole like pack of dogs. Oh, I would love them
like
so much.
3-legged dogs, dogs on with wheelchairs on their back legs, blind cats and things like that. I would love that. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a way to get yourself over.
Yes, but that's not what they do. The Grizzled Young Vets, that name is so fucking stupid. Like I said, it's meaningless.
Well, are they like war veterans, or is it like
I don't know.
wrestling veterans?
Okay, if they're war veterans, but nonetheless, young. I mean, you can be a young veteran. Okay, if they're war veterans, that makes sense. Otherwise, it's fucking stupid. And the grizzled part, I don't know. They don't appear grizzled, you know.
Yeah.
So stupid fucking name. Anyways, like I said, they beat the Outrunners. They hit the Doomsday Device and then the High Low on Truth Magnum and pinned him. Pretty good match. Pretty good match. 3.5 bones out of 5. Nothing really wrong with it. Just the Outrunners. They, it was one sided. It was obvious who was going to win. Otherwise, I would have given it probably a bit more because the Outrunners are really becoming one of the most entertaining parts of AEW.
That's true. I don't like the high low. It looks lazy.
I forgot like what it was even.
It's when one of them squats and sticks their leg out, and the other one pushes the guy down over it.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's like what you like see in like 1980s high school movies, like happening to the nerd.
I totally agree.
It's not a wrestling move. It's like a jerk move.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't like them.
Sorry, not to shit all over them, but
I don't like
we're
them.
not big fans yet.
I mean, they have some.
Go ahead.
They have some wrestling talent, sure. Yeah. I don't. Their whole shtick doesn't do any fucking thing for me at all. I got no interest in these guys.
I'm open to them changing my mind.
Yeah. I'm always open.
They're gonna have to work at it.
Yeah, I'm always open. I mean, wrestlers will change your mind sometimes, but like I said, as
Christian, changed my mind.
But as it is right now, I got no interest in these guys. Up next, Nyla Rose pinned Amina Belmont after a spinning beast bomb. This was a squash match, and we don't rate squash matches. Faz B saying Outrunners should win the Ring of Honor tag belts.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Oh yeah.
I totally agree. Yeah, they need to have something. I mean, of course, they need some wins before they're just handed the belts to make it believable.
Well, they might be winning on Ring of Honor because they wrestle on there too. We don't see those matches.
Oh yeah, I don't.
A lot of times. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say we don't see Ring of Honor, and I usually don't even read the results. I'd like to change that. I should probably change that.
I was gonna say a lot of the people that we see as like jobbers on AEW.
Yeah. Right.
They do get wins, but it's on Ring of Honor television.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I'll check out Ring of Honor and see what they're doing on there. I'll look, but
I love that idea.
Yeah, like we were saying, in AEW they have not won anything, not one match. Not that I've seen, not one match.
Feel free to correct us.
Yeah, feel free to correct us. Yeah, but yeah, I like that idea, and like I said, I'll look into what they do in Ring of Honor. But yeah, the Outrunners, I absolutely love their gimmick, and they pull it off 100%. I'm not so sure about the woman, Erica Lee. I think she needs to go. I don't think
you just need to fix her.
Or fix her. Yeah, I don't think she doesn't seem to get it.
She doesn't seem to know what to do.
Right.
And they have not done her look correctly.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
Get exactly. The woman a crimper. A crimper.
True.
You can't just frizz it and hairspray it. That doesn't work.
Yeah. She looks crazy, not 80s.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, we all love the Outrunners. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Nyla Rose beat Amina Belmont in a squash match. And then the match Faz B was talking about, or Faz B, I don't know what it is, when he said that 4-way men's match was fire. Oh, yeah. Faz B talking about Erica Lee, she reminds me of Sister Sherry. In look, yeah. I mean, even in the face, yes. And the look with the hair, to an extent, that's who I always think of when she comes out. Yeah, definitely. Is
that Sherry? Well, she had other names.
Sherry, yeah, right? Sensational Sherry.
That's what I was thinking. Sensational.
Queen Sherry when she was with Randy Savage.
Yeah.
She managed a lot of guys. Randy Savage.
She had like the voice that it was like gravel, right? Or was that
you're thinking of Luna Vachon?
I am thinking of Luna Vachon, yes.
Okay. Sister Sherry managed Ric Flair, Randy Savage, Harlem Heat. I can't think of who else right now, but she managed a bunch of guys and did it well. And she was a pretty good women's wrestler as well. The shame is she was just around in a period when WWF didn't prioritize women's wrestling. They had it sometimes. They would throw one match on there, but they didn't prioritize it at all. There was no division, really. That's a shame. But yeah, so the 4-way men's match, the main event of Rampage, It was the Beast Mortos taking on Commander, Leo Rush, and Konosuke Takeshita. All four guys immensely talented. This was an excellent match. Takeshita pinned Commander after a Blue Thunder Bomb and a Falcon Arrow. So Takeshita, returning now to AEW after being in New Japan for the G1 tournament, which he didn't win, but I think he was in the Final Four. He was in the Final Four, Final 6.
Mm-hmm. Zack Sabre Jr. won.
Yeah, Zack Sabre Jr., right. But yeah, that main event, 4.5 bones out of 5.
Yeah.
And that was the match of the night on Rampage for sure. Yeah.
And just to do our weekly commercial for Rampage, if you don't watch Rampage, you really should.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much wrestling compacted into an hour, and they just cut out all the bullshit, and you always get at least one just really awesome match.
True. And you get to see, some of the B and C
mm-hmm.
talent. You get to watch them develop as well, which is fun.
Mm-hmm.
You got people to cheer for them coming up the card.
Mm-hmm.
That's always fun.
Yeah.
But like she said, Rampage. Yeah, watch it. It is just a compressed chunk of pretty good wrestling. Usually, they might have a couple, maybe one jobber match. But like I said, they'll have a couple B and C talent matches, and sometimes they'll throw an A talent on there. But yeah, just Rampage is great. Don't miss it. It's fun.
This week they had more matches than Dynamite.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about that in a bit. But Rampage is actually the AEW show that has the highest percentage of wrestling on it. So if that's what you want, every week it does.
Mm-hmm.
It's the show that has the highest percentage of wrestling in pro wrestling. Yeah. Period. So
in America.
If you just want to see in America, yeah. So if you just want to see wrestling, check good wrestling. Check out Rampage. All right, Collision now was August 31st in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We opened up with a trios match. Former international champion Orange Cassidy, his partner in the conglomeration Kyle O'Reilly, and the amazing undefeated Hologram teamed up to take on the Beast Mortos, Johnny TV, and Ring of Honor Pure Champion Lee Moriarty, and Johnny TV accompanied by Taya Valkyrie, of course. This match was...
And Lee Moriarty accompanied by Shane Taylor.
Thank you, yes. Part of Shane Taylor Promotions. Well, it's just those two, yeah.
No, and Anthony Ogogo.
Oh, but he wasn't there with them, was he?
No.
Okay. I guess he's still part of it.
Yeah, he was on TV at All In or last week or something.
Yeah, he was at All In.
Yeah.
Yeah. In that,
in the 0 hour match that I didn't watch.
Yeah, I think that's right. Okay. This match was fucking awesome.
It was awesome.
Fucking awesome.
Oh my God.
Hologram flew all over the place. He did, I know I talk about him every week, and I'll try and keep it short. He did a number of things that I've never seen before. He did a couple things that I would have thought were impossible, too. I mean, no shit about this guy.
And when he was in the ring with the Beast Mortos, it was just
magic.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
it was fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those two work together so well. Like I said, they have both quickly become two of my favorites in AEW.
And it wasn't perfect, but the stuff they're trying and pull off 90, 85% of the time.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I'll admit that there were a couple botches in the match, definitely. But that's because of the stuff that Hologram is trying. Mm-hmm. Maybe he should get better at it before he tries. I don't know. But I'm fine. If somebody messes up while they're trying something amazing, fine by me.
It's why you get multiple tries at the NBA dunk contest.
Well, it's not quite like the NBA dunk contest.
Exactly like the NBA dunk contest.
But yeah, like I said, I'll keep it short. Hologram's amazing. If you haven't seen him wrestle, find a match, watch it. And the Beast Mortos, as Kay said, those two together, it's magic. It really is. But yeah, so there's a lot of high flying in this match, and just people everywhere. The tag rules were pretty much forgotten, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, great match. Hologram pinned Johnny TV after a reverse Spanish fly off the top rope.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. So yeah, Cassidy, O'Reilly, and Hologram got the win there.
Can I say one more thing?
Okay.
Okay, so
Can I tell you my rating
Oh
first?
yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Excellent match, very fun. 4.5 bones out of 5.
Was this your match of the night?
Yeah, definitely. 1 second.
It was. I can go ahead and tell you.
Yes, this was the collision match of the night. Yeah.
So wait, which was your match of the week then?
I'll tell after collision's over.
So I was just gonna say it's nice that we have 2 luchas, luchadors in AEW besides the Lucha Brothers who are leaving. It's really nice that we have 2 new luchadors who they're booking well and frequently. For a long time, like you'd only see Commander, and back when they had Gravity, and back when they had Bandito before he got injured, you'd only see these guys on Rampage or as someone to lose to someone higher on the card. And just the frequency in which they've been using the Beast Mortos, especially because he's been in a little bit longer than Hologram. I know he started out on Ring of Honor for the most part, but he came to us from AAA. But just the fact that they're using him so often and he is sometimes winning, I think is a huge deal. It's a huge step in the right direction for luchadors in AEW. And then with Hologram being on an undefeated streak, I would agree about him also.
Oh.
What you doing?
I was just grabbing something real quick.
I did not get to the next match. I was talking about how awesome it is that AEW is utilizing luchadors well besides the Lucha Brothers.
Yeah, if you listen to our show, watch our show, you know we love the luchadors. Me personally, it's my favorite kind of wrestling. I like a lot of different types. It's very close between like 80s NWA and modern luchadors. But I gotta put
so funny they're like opposites.
Yeah, very different. Yeah. But I love the luchadors more. I've always in wrestling liked the high flyers, even starting with like Too Cold Scorpio for me back in 1993. So yeah, I love the luchadors, and they just do amazing stuff. You know, Rey Mysterio, probably the best of them. I don't know if there's much debate, just all around.
Oh, really? Who, Delta Kinga?
I think so. Yeah.
Whoa, that's a big deal, guys.
But yeah, because I love El Hijo Del Vikingo. We have his signed photo right there. There he is, holding the AAA title.
Thanks to Dylan from Last Week in Wrestling.
Thank you, Dylan. Yep. But yeah, my point is, I love luchadors. More, please.
Yeah.
We need to start watching CMLL. I found a place it's on. If you want to watch CMLL, which is the best Mexican federation right now, a lot of their stuff is on YouTube for free. So go check it out. That's the company AEW has been teaming with. That's where Hologram came from. Or no, he didn't. No. He came from AAA. I'm sorry. I always do that. But that's where a lot of these Mexican wrestlers we see on AEW, that's where a lot of them came from, is CMLL.
The ones that were there for Forbidden Door. I don't know of any of our luchadors that signed with AEW from CMLL.
True. Okay.
From AAA.
Yeah. Kay Fabulous is right in correcting me. Yes, that's correct.
I'm gonna make a little loop of that and just play it to myself. But I'm right.
But despite all that, CMLL is the best Mexican promotion right now. So check them out, and even check out AAA, because a lot of people are down on them. That's the one Conan books. But a lot of people are down on it. But I find it entertaining still. But CMLL is definitely where it's at. They got like AEW people flying in to have matches in Arena Mexico, and
I need to see their women's matches.
Okay.
Because like the AAA women's matches that I saw at least last year during like all the Triple Manias, like that shit was awesome. Yeah. Those women can go and they do not fuck around.
Yeah, better than a lot of the men. Better than a lot of men.
And sometimes they're wrestling the men, which is also cool.
Yeah. In Mexico, right? The men and women wrestle each other. It's not like here. When, if a guy touches a woman, it's like, oh my God, what's he doing? That's crazy. Because usually you won't see that on pro wrestling TV in America at all. You won't see a man hitting a woman, which maybe you shouldn't, but I get why they don't. But in Mexico, they are all pro wrestlers. They're all athletes. The men wrestle the women, the men punch the women, slam the women, and the women do that to the men as well. And it's pretty cool to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool to watch.
Back to AEW.
Back to AEW. Fazb says, how good are we eating? 2 pay-per-views and 2 weeks apart.
Yeah.
Very true, man.
Mm-hmm.
All In was excellent. If you want to check out our review, was what, last week, 2 weeks ago?
It was last week.
Last week. That's on YouTube and on X if you want to see a review of it. Great pay-per-view, and All Out looks to be pretty great too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, looks like a great card so far, and we're going to talk about that a little later about All Out. Back to Collision on Saturday from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. The Bang Bang Gang, Orange Cassidy, or no, not Orange Cassidy. I do that all the fucking time because I think Juice. I think it's Juice. Juice Robinson and former World Tag Champs, the Guns, took on the Premier Athletes.
How come they get a former tag champs, but they don't? The Bang Bang Gang doesn't get a former trios champ.
Well, because the trios champs.
Oh, Juice wasn't part of it.
It was Jay White and the Guns. Yeah, that's why I didn't.
Well, he was a fake trios champ until
they vacated the belt. Yeah, they vacated the belts.
Fine.
That's why.
I just want Juice Robinson to have a belt in AEW. That's not too much to ask.
Yeah, Juice is right. Not held a title. Yeah, like I said, remember, Jay White and the Guns were the champions, not Juice. But the Bang Bang Gang took on the Premier Athletes. That's Smart Mark Sterling's team of Aria Daivari, Tony Nese, and Josh Woods. And as always, Tony Nese overlooked Jim. Great wrestler.
Aria.
That's what I said.
You said Aria.
Oh, Aria. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you. All right. And pretty good match. Obviously, the outcome was never in question.
Yeah.
Colton Gunn pinned Josh Woods after the Guns hit 310 to Yuma, their tag team finisher. Give this one 3.5 bones out of 5. And I'll tell you, this match was a fucking Juice Robinson highlight show. The guy, he was throwing lefts. His punches looked fantastic. He was spinning around like a weirdo. He was, at the end of the match, he was gyrating. Made me a little uncomfortable, but maybe the ladies liked it. But, this guy, Juice Robinson, he's got so much, passion and fire when he wrestles. You got to love this guy. You can't help but be on his side, He's going all out when he wrestles and doing it with emotion. And, I love him. I love the guy. Definitely has grown on me a lot. Faz B here saying, would you change your rating of Darby versus Jack Perry because 10 minutes was cut? I wouldn't. I assumed it was cut. Let me look back to what I gave it. I know I didn't give it a good review. I might even said it was a squash match. Let me look. Yeah, I called it a squash match. Yeah, didn't even rate it. Because Jack Perry just kicked Darby's ass. Darby maybe got 3 moves in, So no, I wouldn't change it. I just grade the actual stuff that happens. Now I'm with you. I was really looking forward to that match. Obviously, if we had seen that extra 10 minutes, I think it would have been tremendous. Yeah, but unfortunately, we did not. All right, next up on Collision, former World Tag Champs FTR taking on former Ring of Honor Tag Champs, the Undisputed Kingdom. And this was a good match, too. Just 2 solid tag teams taking on each other. Dax Harwood pinned Matt Taven after FTR hit a superplex, then a top rope splash by Cash Wheeler. And like I said, this was a pretty good match. 4 bones out of 5. All right, up next, we had an 8-man tag match. We had Top Flight, which has become a faction, not just a tag team. We've got Dante Martin. What's his brother's name? Darius Martin, Leo Rush, and Action Andretti. And they took on the Iron Savages, who I forget their 2 names, and one of them is called Jack Jameson.
Boulder and Bronson and Jack Jameson.
Yeah, I hate the Iron Savages. If you listen to us, watch us, I fucking can't stand them. They're a waste of time. They're a waste of, there are plenty of good wrestlers who could have been in the spot besides them. They do too much silly shit. I don't know who they think they're entertaining, with their moves like Titty City. where they push their pecs together, pretend they have tits, and shove another man's face in there. Who wants that? Who are they entertaining by doing that? Not me. Shit like that, and talking about eating assholes and licking assholes and all that. They haven't done it in a while.
Stop talking.
They
about
haven't done that in a while,
yeah.
but they fucking used to.
Yeah.
And that's sick. Like, it wasn't even funny, you know. I just don't. I don't want.
We're not judging people's sex lives.
No,
We're just saying it doesn't.
I just don't want my wrestling. Yeah, I don't care what you do sexually. I don't give a fuck. I'm just talking about wrestling. I don't need that in my wrestling. You know, that doesn't. It's not funny. It's not wrestling. It's not anything but a waste of time.
Are you leaving out the most important person on this team?
I was about to mention it.
Okay, good.
So Turbo Floyd of the Outrunners was on this 4-man team as well. And
which, like, are the Outrunners heels?
Yeah, I don't know.
What the fuck?
They got a good cheer. I mean, Turbo Floyd here did.
They cheered every time he came in the ring. Mm-hmm. And then they booed the other people. Yeah. Like, they booed the faces at times. Yeah, I just don't.
No, Tony Khan needs to realize that I'd say there's 2 acts right now that have 2 lower kind of acts in AEW that have fan based waves they're riding on. And I was at Big Bill as one. Like, people are really starting to dig him and see his skill. And number 2, the Outrunners. Yeah. I mean, the live crowds love them. I assume people on TV love them. I see a lot of people. I haven't seen anything negative. I don't think people really take them seriously, but that's okay.
But that would be really easy to change.
That can be easy to change, and they are very good wrestlers, I think. Both of them. I don't know where the fuck these guys came from.
And sellers,
yeah. Exactly. I mean, they're an older style, but it works really well. And I'm gonna find out where they came from. Again, I don't fucking know. They just like showed up and looked like
it came from straight from heaven.
Yeah, and looked like 35, 40-year-old dudes from the 80s. You know,
time travel.
I'm telling
you. I told you need to exit. Come out of the little tunnel through a phone booth or like a TARDIS, some sort of time traveling device.
I think you're adding too much onto the gimmick there.
DeLorean pulls out of the tunnel.
Maybe a DeLorean. That would be awesome.
Yeah, and then like a bunch of smoke comes out when they lift it up. Yeah.
Faz B here saying I need the Acclaimed versus the Outrunners. Yeah, I would love that.
That'd be awesome.
And the Acclaimed really in the last 2 months have really stepped up their game. Just when their act was getting a little, their match act was getting a little stale, they really ramped up the intensity with which they wrestle, and have re-won me as a fan of the Acclaimed. Yeah, definitely. I would love to see that match.
Like, they didn't lose you as a fan, right?
Better word, yes. Yeah. I would love to see that match too, definitely, yeah. That'd be fun.
That'd be so really much fun. Pink.
Huh?
It would be so much hot pink.
Yeah.
I would love it.
Yeah, that'd be a fun match for sure. Good wrestling and some silly hijinks too, which, every once in a while that's funny. Every once in a while that's fun. I don't need a whole company of silly hijinks, but
every once the Harlem Globetrotters of wrestling?
Yeah, I don't need that shit. No. That's not fun. And speaking of silly acts, Danhausen, I found out why he's not being booked. And so I don't know if people know this, but the deal was, well, one, he's kind of a shitty wrestler. The last time he was in the ring, goddamn, what's his name? From the Best Friends, Trent. Trent tried to clothesline him over the ropes and outside, and then tried to push him, and he didn't go out either way. And they had to go out, a different way, just a very awkward way. And then Trent got back in the ring. He was like, I don't know what the fuck you want me to do. Had a face like that on. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Danhausen, let's be honest, not great in the ring. But sells a lot of merchandise. He is consistently one of AEW's top merch sellers because his act is funny. I mean, I love it. I love his act. But acts aside, he's a good friend of CM Punk, supposedly. And a lot of people think he is heading up north. Danhausen is in some capacity. But yeah, he seems to have his head like up CM Punk's ass. And here's the deal with that. Why are you looking at me like that?
Because I read stuff about that too, and like FTR is like best friends with CM Punk, so it makes
Okay.
no sense. And so is like Brody King is also friends with him. It makes no sense that they're gonna push and like give belts to 3 of his friends, and then the other one they're like banishing from television.
No, I'm not saying that has anything to do with anything.
Okay.
I'm just pointing it out.
Okay, I read people online being like, "This is why."
No. I'm not saying his friendship with CM Punk has
Okay.
anything to do with the
Okay,
reason he's not on TV. No.
Okay.
But like I said, I found out the reason he's not on TV, and like I said, he's one of the top merch sellers. So what the deal is Danhausen was bootlegging his merchandise. You know, he was taking the AEW designs and stuff like that, which are copyrighted to AEW, and getting his own shirts made and selling them so he could keep 100% of the profits instead of the profits AEW gave him in his contract. So totally broke his contract. It's totally illegal, and they chose not to prosecute him. I think I haven't heard anything about that, but that's why they're not using him on television, because he did that, and he's constantly like trashing them online and posting anti AEW stuff. Like they just they're done with Danhausen and the kind of things he does nowadays. Just really disappointing. I used to like the guy and think he was a good guy, and I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he is, and it's just in a tough place. I don't know, but I don't really like the way he handles himself online nowadays as it relates to AEW.
Do we need to throw the word allegedly?
Yeah.
Counterfeit T-shirts.
Allegedly, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Allegedly sold counterfeit T-shirts. Yes, correct. Thank you. But that is why he's not. That is supposedly why he's not on television anymore. Yeah, just talking about comedy acts there. But yeah, the 8-man tag, Top Flight won when Dante Martin pinned Jack Jameson. Dante Martin did his crossover frog splash, where he pretends to put a basketball between both of his legs twice. Hit that from the top rope. Good match, solid match. Actually, the Iron Savages were not bad here. I still hate them, but they weren't bad here. 4 bones out of 5. Good match.
What's interesting is on this collision, we're probably the 2 wrestling like groups or people that we dislike the most in AEW, and both of them did like some of the best work we've ever seen them do.
Correct. Yeah, definitely.
So something's in the water.
Yeah, and the other one, what she's talking about, the other act we don't like.
Usually,
we really don't like. Usually, is Tomohiro Ishii. And like I said, I know the guy's a legend.
Yeah.
But I'm just going on his work now. When I give out ratings, when I talk about him, I'm just going on now what he does. Because I'm not, I try to grade on like match quality, and like I said, that's what I'm interested in. So I don't really care what you did 15 years ago as far as today. That doesn't really do anything. Like, are you shitty in the ring now? Does it help AEW to have a 50 whatever year old man,
no
selling, and and them having to sell these shitty forearm shots from him? Who is that helping? I mean, they did that to Swerve like right before his title defense against Danielson. And I don't get who that helps. And like I said, I'm going to go back. I said this. I'm going to go back and watch some of Ishii's matches from like 15, 20 years ago, just so I can understand why people love him. But yeah,
I feel like we saw a piece of it in this match.
Yeah. Right.
The second, I left and was emptying the dishwasher, in all honesty, during the beginning of this match, because I was like, oh, fuck, it's an Ishii match. They started with exchanging forearms to the neck for like a gajillion hits. And so I was like
30 seconds.
I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm done. And luckily I came back for the second half of the match, because then I was like, holy shit, if he can do these things, why is he hiding it?
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Yeah, the start of the match sucked. I hate that when the guys just rush together and start punching and stuff. Like, that's old. That's been done over and over. Stop. But yeah, this was actually a good match. Ishii took on Kyle Fletcher. Like I said, great up and comer, former Ring of Honor World Television Champ. Fletcher just seems to get better by the week, I feel like. And he took on Ishii.
Former Ring of Honor Tag Champ.
And former Ring of Honor Tag Champ as well. Yeah, thank you. He But yeah, it was a solid match. Ishii didn't no sell the whole match. He no sold a little, but it actually it worked kind of in the match.
Like it made sense when he was no
Right.
selling.
Yeah, it made sense, and the crowd seemed to like it, which that's the most important thing, of course.
He did a top rope move.
Oh, I forgot. What did he do?
I forget. He did some sort of flip off the top rope. Like I saw him climbing the ropes, and I was like, "What is happening?" And then he did like a swanton kind of thing. You know?
I don't remember that.
He did something. It was some kind of flip off the rope, and I was like, it might have been the middle turnbuckle and not the top turnbuckle, but it was something off the ropes, and I've just never seen that man leave the ground. So it was just so exciting.
I'll take your word for it. I don't remember that. Like I said, it was a well fought match, and both guys were good. They were, and there was an ebb and flow of the momentum. Solid match, 4 bones out of 5, which I think is the not. I think that's the highest I've ever rated an Ishii match. Because as I said, just 3 days earlier on Dynamite, he fought Hangman. And I gave that 1 bone out of 5. I mean, that match was shitty.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good to see Ishii do well. Like I said,
wrestle.
Like I said earlier, yeah, people can change my mind.
Yeah.
Definitely, but that's just 1 for Ishii. So let's see if he can.
Well, we know he has it in him.
Yeah.
You know, that's nice. Because at first, I mean, up until this point, I just thought he just wasn't good.
Yeah.
But he can be good.
And he's part of the conglomeration as well. I mean, that's a cool faction. It's a really neat faction. When they wrestle, especially that trios team of Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, and Mark Briscoe, those guys wrestle so differently. It's like a face version of the House of Black.
Yeah.
They complement.
Oh, that's a really good.
They complement each other's strengths. They don't have a monster like Brody King, but like I said, they complement each other's strengths and hide each other's weaknesses. It's just a great team. And of course, Ishii, the 4th man in that stable, kind of acts as like the silent old man. And if he can have performances like this against Fletcher, then yeah, good. I mean, that's a fun stable. I really like them.
While they don't have someone big like Brody King, I feel like Mark Briscoe, because he does all of his moves like Darby Allin and Mick Foley with like 0 thought to his well-being.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like the big man attitude.
I got you. Yeah, I agree.
So he's like the little big man of the conglomeration.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, so I like that. I'm not sure how much I like the name still, the conglomeration.
Oh, it sucks. But they're like
that had to be like somebody was high, somebody was drunk, and they were like, we'll call it the conglomeration. It's hilarious.
We'll go conglomerate things.
Yeah. So I don't know. That has to be the explanation.
I think it's kind of funny at this point. That's
it is.
Around.
It is funny at this point.
I'm okay with it.
I thought it would last like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I did too.
The conglomeration.
I didn't even think it would last. As soon as they told us the name, I was like, this has to be the only time we're seeing them.
Well, no, I didn't think the stable would disband. I thought their name would change.
I thought they would disband and form a new stable with a new name.
Oh, okay. Well, they haven't, so they're sticking with the conglomeration. All right. Collision, two matches left here. We saw Buddy Matthews, former trios champ with the House of Black, and he took on the fantastic luchador Commander, who was just a master of walking the ropes, a master of high-flying moves. And Matthews pinned Commander after a modified fireman's carry slam. I was looking forward to this match a lot. Buddy Matthews is just a worker, and like I said, Commander can do great things. Amazing things on the ropes. The way he walks them and bounces from rope to rope. It's something else. And I thought that mixed with Buddy's like fast, tough, hard impact style, I thought would make for a really fun match. But they didn't let Commander do much of anything
or give them much time.
Oh, right. It was very short. It wasn't competitive. Maybe I almost shouldn't have even rated it, but I give it 3 bones out of 5. Just Matthews looked great, but they didn't let Commander do anything. So the main event of Collision, we had a 4-way women's match where the winner would get a TBS title match at All Out, taking on Mercedes Moné. So we had Queen Aminata, Thunder Rosa, former world champ, Serena Deeb, and former world champ Hikaru Shida. Shida's had it, what, 2 or 3 times?
3 times.
3 times.
She is the first AEW 3-time women's champion.
Is there another
Followed
3
by
times?
Toni Storm.
Toni Storm. Okay, cool. But yeah, it was a good match. Serena Deeb, we hadn't seen her in a while, and she came out like she feels kind of heelish now to me, didn't she?
Oh my god, I just wish it to be true. I didn't know if it was me just wishing it.
Yeah. So
I mean, she did the stupid Paradise Lock, which seems like a heel move, you know?
Yeah. No, that's like a face move. People are supposed to
Paradise Lock?
People are supposed to applaud that. Like it's funny and clever. Yeah, if you don't know what we're talking about, the Paradise Lock is where they take people's limbs, like their arms and legs, and like tie them together, when their
Like
butts up in the air, right? And that they can't get out. And that's so fucking stupid,
Like, we all don't have bodies and
Right.
don't understand. We can just pull our arms out. Or if it's our body weight that's pinning things down in that position, just roll on your side.
Right. And now, as I said, if you broke someone's arms and legs
and then did it,
and you could tie them together, then
yeah,
it's like you totally crushed their bones. But with intact bones, it's not possible.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's insulting to our intelligence. It's not fun because, like we all know, it's not possible. And then you're stopping the match for them to stare at this stupid lock they've put on, and I don't care.
And she did it to 2 people at the same time.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I don't care for that at all. No one.
And she's not the only person that does this. Like, I first saw it in men's wrestling on AEW, someone from New Japan, I think.
Yeah. But complaints aside, everybody looked pretty good. Thunder Rosa was, man, she was maybe the star of the match.
Oh, for sure.
And she had an awesome green costume on.
I love it.
Like shimmery green, Kelly green kind
of. So her outfit was Kelly green, but then she came out with like a foresty green, shimmery, like chiffon. So it was like kind of see-through cape, sparkly. Very nice.
Yeah, she looked great, and she wrestled great too. She was awesome. Like I said, I think she was the star of the match, Rosa.
Hands down.
Yeah, and that's what I was cheering for. Serena Deeb, good as always. God, they gave her like mic time, and she's not interesting on the mic. I hate to say. She's not terrible, but she's not good.
Here, I'll be her. Ready? I have 1,000 holds. I am the professor.
It's not as bad as that. No, it's not as bad as that. It's like
I am going to win the AEW Women's TBS title.
It's not as bad as that. It's like, so they call me the professor, and I come out here and I win matches, and that's what I do. Queen Aminata, if you want to take me on, that's just fine. And
no,
she's like that.
You have too much inflection.
Oh, you're probably right.
It is more monotone.
You're probably right. But yeah, she needs to work on that, I think.
AEW, we're the best wrestle.
She needs to work on that. Queen Aminata, up and comer. I like her very much.
I love her.
She didn't do a whole lot in this match. I feel she got beat up a lot.
She did a lot of work with Serena Deeb. Before the match and the really awkward interview they had together, they made kind of like a pact to help each other before Serena turned on her, which I think was another step in the heel direction, like you were saying. But they had some good like women's tag stuff initially. But she did anyway. I didn't see her do much by herself.
Yeah, and Sheeta looked good as well. And we have Connie the Cook says KKK.
Hey.
So you either have a fan or someone's being racist. Yeah.
We're gonna hope I have a fan.
Talking about the KKK. So hopefully you have a big fan.
Yeah.
And they're not racist because we don't play that here. Hikaru Shida won the match. Good match, solid match. Shida pinned Aminata after a spinning kick to the head, and she calls that kick the katana. Good match, 4 bones out of 5.
Can I ask a question? Did Shida recently competed for a belt, like in the last 2 weeks on television, and lost? Was that? I thought it was for this belt, but it might have been for Tony's belt. Is that right? Like, she definitely.
I felt like it was for the TBS title also.
So how'd she get in this match? Seems like.
But I feel like she did fight.
Yeah.
She did fight Monet for the belt.
I guess it would be Monet.
I could be wrong, but that's how I remember it. Yeah, for sure. So let's see. Match of the week. Was it that 6-man, you think, or what do you think?
Oh, yeah, like on Collision.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
AEW match of the week, I think definitely was Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, and Hologram beating the Beast Mortos, Johnny TV, and Lee Moriarty. We just saw so many different styles in this match. Everybody shined except Moriarty. I didn't see a lot out of Moriarty. But everyone else just shined in this match. Saw Hologram once again do amazing things. Beast Mortos do amazing things for his size. Yeah, just good match. 4.5 bones. No 5 bone matches this week. After we had 2 last week at All In. MJF versus MJF.
Will Ospreay
lost to Ospreay, lost the international title, and of course Danielson beat Swerve, and those were both classics, I think.
Can I say one thing that I already said this to you, but can I tell them about Moriarty and my feelings about him?
Okay.
So, dude picked a wrestling name that has like arguably one of the top 3 greatest villains in literature.
Right.
And movies and stuff.
Well, you should tell them if they don't know.
Oh yeah, sorry. So, Moriarty is the villain in the Sherlock Holmes series. Dude is like diabolical and evil and like just fucking terrible, and is like Sherlock Holmes' arch nemesis. And then you got Lee Moriarty coming out in like a tiger mask. And yeah, he's with Shane Taylor Promotions, which is a heel faction. But he doesn't do anything remotely heel-like. And he's smiling all the time. Like, if you're gonna smile, at least pull like a Moriarty from the Sherlock BBC series and smile creepily. I mean, like, do something to make yourself evil. I think a lot of their heels need to take a page out of MJF's book. Like, you need to make the audience hate you in some way. And especially if you're choosing like one of the ultimate like kings of the villains as your namesake. You need to represent that name because he's nothing like the character. And I'm not saying I need to see the character from the book like pop out on the wrestling ring, but that dude needs to be evil, and he's not evil at all. So he needs to work on that. So Asa pointed at something and then ran away.
Well, I want to say something. I heard what you said about.
Okay.
I heard what you said about the heels in AEW. I just want to comment real quick. So yeah, like Kay was just saying, I think I heard I heard the gist of what you were saying. You're saying like a lot of the AEW heels don't act heelish enough.
Yeah, they're not evil.
I agree. But here's one of the problems, I think. The main problem with that is, AEW compared to, the other big company in America, AEW has, what you would call a smart fan base. And just meaning, really what that's come to mean is just people who kind of know the tricks of the trade, have heard on the internet how the business works. Keep up with wrestling all the time on the internet. We would be considered smart fans. You have smart fans, and then you have marks is the other word. And that's just people who watch the wrestling, like the wrestling. They don't follow all the backstage stuff, don't care.
I thought it was people that believed the wrestling.
It used to be, yeah. Okay. It used to be, right. And that's where the terms came from.
Yeah.
If you were smart, you were wizened up to what happened. If you were mark, mark means, like somebody's getting fooled.
Like
that comes
sucker.
Right, a sucker. That comes from the old carnival days of pro wrestling. Look at these marks and this and the word, still in like indie wrestling, the older school guys, maybe not anymore, but this is when I was a manager in indie wrestling, that said Mizark. So people didn't know what they were saying. Like, Carney was the language.
Oh, huh.
So you'd say, like, this Mizark is wizatching is over.
What the fuck are you saying?
Well, see, that's the point. You talk so that
it's like Pig Latin, but not Pig Latin.
Yeah, you put like Z's in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Huh.
And then that's how they would do, and like the way Snoop Dogg talks. But that was Carney. That was Carney language, and that's what the wrestlers. Like I said, even when I was a manager, the old 20 fucking years ago.
God.
Yeah, I know. The older guys, that's how they would talk because it was indie wrestling. Like one time we were at a carnival. I think it was it wasn't a state fair. It was a county fair in North Carolina. What? Yeah, it was a county fair, and everybody had to chant like there wasn't a dressing room. We just had a ring, and so we just had sheets set up on wires, so we could change and everyone wouldn't see us naked and stuff. And yeah, I remember that because some of the guys and me were hanging out like just beside the sheet, which just beside us was like a frog jumping contest guy. But anyways, um, but yeah, so we were talking, and then like I said, some people came past, and I remember them just like going into carny talk with everything they were saying, like so much so that I couldn't understand, but they did that so the fans don't get wizened up to what's going on. That's a long explanation, but I think that's kind of interesting at
Okay,
least.
wait, but go back to what your original point
Back
was.
to what I was saying,
Yeah.
right? We have smart fans, which nowadays, like I said, means just people who feel like they know what's going on, whether they really know what's going on or not. They feel like they do. They yeah. And then you have the marks, like I said, which nowadays just means it doesn't mean anymore really people who think it's real. Like I said, it just means people who just watch it and have fun. Those are the marks.
Like me, when I forget that wrestlers can like lie to us.
Yeah, right.
Stuff.
Every time, yeah,
Like,
every time,
God.
and right every time she sees something, she'll be like, "God, did you hear that he said this? What about that?" And I'll be like, "Hey, he's lying."
Yeah.
And the term I always think about, wrestler's gonna wrestler.
Yeah.
You hear something about something or other, it's like, oh, he's on steroids, or he did this and did that. It's like wrestler's gonna wrestler.
Yeah. I always forget that, like, even in real life, like on social media, they can just lie to us. Like, I'm such a sucker sometimes.
Let's see, Connie the cook saying it. She was doing her Deeb impersonation. She has no talent. Sheets cost too much to cut up. I hope you're saying Deeb has no talent, not Kay.
No, she was, yeah.
I think that's what she's saying. But yeah, that's funny. Yes, Deeb has those huge flags.
Yeah.
She has like such a big presence. Visual presence compared to her
actual presence.
To her actual presence. Yeah, it's strange.
And in the ring, she's awesome. Like,
Right.
It's really disappointing to have such an awesome female wrestler be so flat.
Connie the cook's at Deeb. Yeah, I thought that's what you meant. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, because she's very good in the ring. I think before I called her like, I called her the Bret Hart of women's wrestling. Just in her technical ability, and I don't mean she's as good as Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Or overall, she's as good as Bret Hart. I just mean she approaches it from a very technical point of view, and I think she has. I think she's pretty good. I think Connie the cook disagrees with me, but I think she's pretty good. And again, when I say that, not as good as Bret Hart. Like I said, the kind of the Bret Hart of the women's division. Just the way she looks at things, she's like all business. I'm the best. You got to beat me to prove you're the best, and I got all these technical holds, and I'm going to show you what's up. That way. Back to what we were saying originally, though. So we got way off track.
Yes, we did. Heels.
That's fine. We got way off track. Yeah, Connie Cook says she is good. Yeah, I think she's good in the ring. Yeah, but just personality, just.
And that's what makes it so disappointing.
Yeah,
it's like
flat.
she's probably like one of the best, if not the best, in the ring. Like technically for women.
Technically, yes. Yeah.
And to just have like wallpaper based personality. Let down. Anyway, so heels.
And Connie Cook also saying, "But put me to sleep." Sorry. Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're right about her personality. Right, yeah. She needs somebody to take her aside and
Tony
say,
Storm.
Yeah.
Under her wing.
Yeah. She needs somebody to take her aside and tell her to liven things up a little.
This is how a person talks.
Connie Cook says should be a trainer. She might be better suited for that.
That's a good call.
Because wrestling, you got to put on a show, and she really. I mean, she'll appeal to the fans, but that's as much of putting on a show as I've seen her do, really.
Yeah.
With a giant flag too, but the rest of it she doesn't really do. Back to what we were originally saying. Kay was talking about AEW heels, and they don't really act evil. They don't act heelish enough. And that's why I was talking about the smart and mark audience, because AEW has what you call a smart audience. So, the issue with the heels is, like MJF, he's so entertaining. He's so good at his job that we, the wrestling fans, love the guy because his bad stuff entertains us week after week. Who it's the same as like
Christian.
Christian, right? Well, Christian's a little more hated, but he's one of those you love to hate.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah,
you love it when Christian shows up,
mm-hmm.
but you're like, oh Jesus, that's the way I feel.
I can think of no other examples.
Really?
Of heels that are beloved but are still like good at being heels in AEW. Maybe Jericho.
Yeah, because he's gotten the learning tree thing over.
Mm-hmm.
He's not as beloved as he once was, but people still I like his act. A lot of people still like what he's doing right now. Yeah. So it's a little split, but he'd be one where he's cheered because he's so entertaining. Even though he's a bad guy, he's so entertaining. And that's one of the things with AEW. And like Swerve Strickland is fucking breaking into Hangman's house, trespassing at what's his name? Nick Wayne's house and bloodying him and just doing all this heel shit. And fans just cheered him, Yeah. Like I said, he was like the Stone Cold Steve Austin of AEW. Fans he was so good at doing what he did and so good at wrestling that
we just forgave his his felonies.
Exactly, yeah. Fans just forget and forgave. But I feel like that's the problem with heels in AEW is just people are, like I said, they're entertained. They don't get that hate really. Maybe MJF.
And that's
maybe
why
MJF.
Like if MJF can do it and do it so quickly and make it look so easy to make people hate you. Like he went from being one of the biggest faces, actually he went from being one of the biggest heels in the company to one of the biggest faces in the company and then back to one of the biggest heels in the company in like a blink of an eye. It didn't even take a whole episode in either direction for him to make that change. Yep. It's remarkable. I've never seen anyone be able to control a crowd's feelings the way that he does.
Ric Flair.
Well, I never saw like Ric Flair live, except for retirement match Ric Flair, which was not Ric Flair.
Oh, really? You've seen
Ric Flair? No. I'm talking about like with me having followed the storylines. I've seen Ric Flair matches and I've seen pay-per-views with Ric Flair, but I haven't seen like the stories build up to those pay-per-views like I have with AEW.
Well, we'll do that. We got Ric Flair versus Dusty Rhodes. We'll watch that story.
But anyway, my point. Heels need to be more evil.
I agree. But that's what I was saying. Just part of the problem is that. But yeah, I totally agree. The heels need to be more evil, and they need to get some like good baby faces who aren't
sometimes evil.
They need to get some like clean, good guy baby faces.
Like Orange Cassidy.
Exactly. Who are never evil. They're good guys. You can root for them. They won't let you down. Yeah, like Orange Cassidy. Darby Allin. Maybe even Kyle Fletcher. Could be that. Ospreay right now.
Kyle Fletcher is currently a heel. He's in the Don Callis family.
People cheer him.
That's because he's awesome.
Because he's awesome, right?
And because I think they, like me, secretly want him to leave the Callis family and join Will Ospreay and reform the United Empire.
Yeah, it's weird because Kyle Fletcher, I don't even think about him still being in the Callis family because it's so been time for him to leave,
Yeah.
I don't even think of that, but he is still in the Callis family.
I mean, Callis was on commentary during at least one, if not both of his matches this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, heels need to be more heely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree. All right, so now we have a new segment. We're going to try this out. It's called Finish Him. So,
wait, is there Mortal Kombat music that you should sing?
I think it's pretty close.
Oh, okay, cool.
Unless you want to do the Mortal Kombat, the yell. You don't know about the yell.
I do not want to do that.
Well, okay. Anyways, if you like Mortal Kombat, you'll recognize that phrase. So it's called Finish Him. So we're going to talk about two wrestlers. We're going to talk about their finishing moves. And I know people will end matches with a number of different moves, but we're going to talk about like the ones they use the most. Mm-hmm. Their finishing move. They hit this and the match should be over. And it is a lot of times over. And we're going to talk about them, how they compare, and whose is better. So the two wrestlers we're going to look at are both former world champions. We're going to look at Swerve Strickland, and we're going to look at Hangman Adam Page. And we're going to look at those two because 4 days from now, they have a steel cage match which I think is going to main event All Out. But we'll talk about that in a minute.
Really?
I think it's going to main event. Yeah, it's a cage
It's
match.
a cage match. Yeah, I didn't think about it. Yeah.
We can talk about that in a minute. But yeah, so Swerve's finisher is the house call, when he jumps in the air and just extends his leg as far as he can, just kicks the shit out of somebody's head, to the point their neck goes sideways. That is his finisher. When he hits that, when he hits two of those, it's over. You look like you don't think that's his finisher.
Well, I was going to say, I would argue with both of these men, they both have two finishers.
But I would say the house call is his finisher.
I'd say for him, that's definitely ahead of the other one as a finisher. But for Adam Page,
stomp? You're talking about the stomp?
I'm talking about the stomp, yeah. But with Adam Page, I feel like it's a tie.
No. What do you think? Buckshot Lariat is his finisher.
I was going to say Deadeye. I think he wins more matches using that as a finisher. Buckshot Lariat, he hits mid-match often.
Well, you're fucking up the segment.
Okay, I'm sorry. We'll go with the ones.
We're going to go with Swerve's house call
yes.
and Adam Page's Buckshot Lariat.
Okay.
So they both win matches with it. They don't always win matches with those, but they both win matches with those. Those are the holds we're fucking talking about.
Okay, I have no other suggestions.
All right. And Connie the Cook says, I think Hangman has been great in the last couple months.
Oh, hell yeah.
Definitely, yeah, I love him. Can't wait to see him and Swerve again.
It is the match to which I am most looking forward.
Maybe. I got to think about it, but probably.
Or possibly Ospreay and Pac.
Oh, yeah, no. Australia Pac #1 for me.
No, I'm still going to go Swerve and Hangman.
We'll talk about it in a minute.
Yeah.
Connie the Cook also saying Buckshot is great. Yeah, I love it. Cool move. I don't know if he invented it. I've never really seen someone do the flip and then lariat before him, but it might have been from Japan or something. I don't know what happens in Japan.
And we've all seen someone fail at attempting to copy it. So
right. And he says Connie the Cook says better than the drunk. I think you mean like his gimmick when he was just drinking all the time. I think that's what you mean.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay, so house call versus Buckshot Lariat.
Yes.
You want to talk first? Let's talk about first. In reality, which one would be worse? Like, which one would hurt more?
I'm going to say the Buckshot Lariat would hurt more. Yeah. Here's why.
Okay.
So, not only do you get hit, like, presumably in the throat.
Yeah.
So you're getting a blow to your trachea.
Yeah.
Which can be crushed if they're like actually hitting you.
Mm.
But then you also are falling backwards and you are going to hit your head on the ground. So you are going to get some kind of concussion. If with the force that he hits you with and the weight of the human body and gravity, like you are getting at least a mild concussion unless you have like a ton of hair like me, where it's like a built-in pillow.
Yeah.
So for anyone that's not me, you would get a concussion. Whereas Swerve Strickland, normally they're on the ground already when he hits the house call. Like, I'm not saying it wouldn't hurt, but I feel like it's a kick to like your neck. So like maybe some like misaligned discs, which can be awful. But I think more likely some bruising and like a kick to a gland. And maybe an aorta that causes some bruising.
Okay, all right. And FazB, I see what you put. We're going to talk about that right after this segment.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your take on the Buckshot Lariat. I think it's pretty good, pretty reasonable. And again, we're talking about if you really did these to somebody, you really did the Buckshot Lariat, which there'd be no point in the flip, but whatever. Or you really did Swerve's house call. So now tell us what do you think about Swerve's house call?
I just told you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking about two different things. I didn't realize you had switched. I apologize.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm sorry. I was saying with the house call, one, you're already on the ground, so you don't have as far to fall once you get kicked. And two, like at most, it would shift some of your vertebrae out of alignment.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Okay, that's when you said it.
But even then, like that would be more of a kick to the back. And he normally kicks you like right in the side.
Yeah.
And so you're hitting like a lymph node. And like maybe your aorta.
Yeah, sorry, I was doing like two different things.
You're fine.
While you were answering, I apologize.
So I mean, it would hurt, and you could be bruised, and you'd probably have like kind of a sore throat.
Okay, so Buckshot Lariat, I agree with you. I wouldn't say you're going to get a concussion. Possibly, I mean, there's a possibility. after the clothesline, you're gonna fall, hit your head, get a concussion. Possibility. I wouldn't say that too bad. If Swerve though kicks you like in the bottom of your head, like in the bottom of your jaw, like top of your neck, you are gonna get a fucking concussion and maybe a broken neck. Yeah, if somebody really did that to you. So you know,
I don't think your neck would break.
okay, well it would you could get a concussion for sure.
I think you would get a crick in the neck.
Oh, a crick in the neck? Get real. All right, let's now let's talk about who do you think is more, who do you think is better at finishing their match with these? Swerve with the house call or Page with a buckshot lariat?
I'm going Swerve with a house call, except he hit like freaking 4 of these in a row on Bryan Danielson and did not finish the match. But I have never seen that happen with him before.
Right.
Adam Page, I have seen him hit many a buckshot lariats that did not finish the match. So I'm going house call.
I totally agree. Yeah, house call a lot of time. Right. People don't kick out of that a whole lot.
Yeah.
And here Connie the cook was saying broken jaw as well with the house call.
I agree with that. Like, I think you'd have a broken jaw before a concussion even. Because, like, especially if he's kicking you higher up, like, that's such a weak point, I guess, on the human body. Like, I think, you would break your jaw.
Yeah, who's more efficient? Yeah, house call versus buckshot lariat doesn't always end the match, but he uses it as a finisher. But I would say the house call is more efficient in ending a match. All right, last part. Which one is cooler? Like, which one is more? Which one is more fun to watch?
That's really difficult. I'm gonna go with the house call.
The house call.
I know the buckshot lariat has like a flip and then it's like bam, but the house call, he like pulls that out of nowhere sometimes. Like, it looks like he's just walking up to the guy to like do a move, and then suddenly he's like kicking the shit out of his neck. Like I'm gonna go with Swerve.
Swerve. Let's see, Connie the cook, and everybody else feel free to chime in. Connie the cook says buckshot. Says the flip. I agree with Connie the cook. What's more visually appealing? Yeah, the flip, come in, knock him down with the clothesline, buckshot lariat. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
I think it looks like it would hurt more too, the buckshot lariat.
See, I think the house call would hurt more. But like I said,
I'm gonna switch my answer to the buckshot lariat.
It's more fun to watch.
It's more fun to watch. Yes.
Yeah, definitely with the flip and yeah. All right. So now which one's better? Which one wins the first edition of Finish Him? And we are going to do this with women as well. We're going to call it Finish Her. We'll do it with tag teams. We'll call it Finish Them. Hopefully, if people like it, we will. Yeah. So Finish Him, Swerve's house call, or Page's buckshot lariat. Which is the better finisher?
I'm going with house call.
Okay.
Because, as you have told me, the best finishers are those that you can do successfully on any opponent.
Right.
And I think you can kick anybody in the head and neck. You can't necessarily knock everyone down with a lariat.
Using my own words against me.
Yes, I am.
Right. And in pro wrestling, that's the adage. That's what they always say is for a finisher. And people really don't go by it a lot nowadays.
Sky Blue looking at you.
But people, it used to be the rule. Your finisher should be something you can do to anyone. So that it's the way you end the match. You don't have to change to another hold or move as a result of someone's size, whether they're fat or tall or short or whatever. Right. It's something you can always hit or hold. You can always put on, like sharpshooter. Work for everybody but like Yokozuna. He still got it on, Hart did, but
I think I like the Walls of Jericho.
Yeah, Walls of Jericho. You can do to most
or
anybody.
Even like what's the elbow thing he does?
The Judas effect.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, like I said, that's the old term. Something you can do to anyone. So using my words against me there.
I am. It's the benefit of being married to your co-host.
You said the house call?
Yeah, because
better.
You can do it to more people. Like if Adam Page tried to do, like, I'm going to use Brian Cage as an example. I'm sure he has at some point, and Brian Cage still fell, but in reality, I would see like someone as big like Brian Cage or even like Big Bill not getting knocked down necessarily by a buckshot lariat.
Yeah.
Especially because he doesn't use his momentum all the way to hit them.
Right.
He pauses and then hits them.
Yeah, the flip is just for fun.
It's for fun, yeah.
All right. I have been convinced. I was going to go with the buckshot lariat, but you've convinced me. I'm going to go with Swerve's house call is the better finisher. But like I said, the buckshot lariat is definitely more fun to watch.
Yeah, no, I agree. You've changed my mind on that. So far, just for keeping track, I was right and you were wrong about something, and I corrected you, and you said I was right. And then now I've convinced you to my way of thinking.
I guess so.
Miracles happen, folks.
I'm in a good mood today.
Yeah.
I'm easy today. That's the first edition of Finish Him.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, next week I think we'll do Finish Her. We'll have 2 women.
Sounds good.
All right, so now it's something that Fazby brought up just a minute ago, and we're going to talk about it. All right. Jon Moxley on Dynamite this week. He made his return. He's bald now. Oh, Connie the Cook said, who wins that match? We will talk about that Thursday on our All Out preview and prediction show. Thursday at 7 p.m. We'll talk about our predictions for every match on All Out.
We can't say now who we think because we don't tell each other.
Right. Yeah. We just do it the day of.
Yeah.
We don't want to influence each other's thinking.
Exactly.
But yeah, like I said, Thursday at 7, All Out preview and prediction show. So Jon Moxley returned and did a promo, and at the end of the promo, he said it's going to take some time for everybody to wrap their brains around this. This is not your company anymore. And he was speaking at the time. He wasn't there, but he was speaking at the time to Darby Allin. If you remember the promo.
I do remember the promo.
So what does he mean? What does Moxley mean? And let me tell you what Fazby said.
Okay.
He said, or she, I'm sorry, said, they said, what about the Moxley situation? Do you think Shane is coming with the Hurt Business? Being, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin and who else was in that?
Shelton Benjamin?
MVP was in it. Was Shelton Benjamin? Yeah, he was in it.
I stopped watching.
Wasn't he? Yeah, it was Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander, MVP, and Bobby Lashley.
Oh, I think the most recent.
Wait, I don't know about Lashley. I don't know.
No, he was. The most recent iteration was MVP, Bobby Lashley, and the Street Profits.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I think so.
Okay. We don't watch WWE.
We don't watch WWE.
Sorry. So I don't really know what's going on.
But I was going to say, I don't think they're coming with the Hurt Business name because I'm assuming WWE has that copyright.
Oh, I assume. But they just mean the
wrestlers.
But yeah. So the reason I'm saying both these things is a lot of people think what Moxley said, this is not your company anymore. A lot of people think it has something to do with Moxley being in league with Shane McMahon somehow. With all these recent talks about Shane McMahon meeting with Tony Khan and them being on good terms and Tony saying good things about Shane McMahon, a lot of people seem to think that this has something to do with Shane McMahon. I'll say one thing real quick, and then I want to hear your reaction. I've said this before. This is not about Shane McMahon personally, as a booker, as a wrestler, or anything else. I want the McMahons as far away from AEW as is possible.
Preach.
I don't want them to be involved in any way.
I don't want them to even have Tony Khan's phone number.
Yeah, I don't want them to even be allowed to watch AEW. Yeah. Keep them away. Yeah. So what do you, Kay, is your reaction the same? Is that how you feel?
It makes me feel nauseous.
Really?
If I'm being honest. Like the idea that any McMahon is coming to this company and is going to have any say in anything. And like Shane is my least hated McMahon.
Yeah. I think he's the best McMahon.
He's the best McMahon.
I think so.
By far. But it just like makes me like ugh, like I have like a physical reaction to this idea, which I know seems super dramatic, but like that whole family is just like so cringy.
Evil.
And yeah.
Like Linda and Vince.
Oh my god, I forgot about Linda.
And hey, if you got a different opinion, fine, great.
Yeah, that's fine.
Linda and Vince are fucking evil people.
Yeah, they're scum.
They're scum of the earth.
Yeah.
That's the way I feel about those two. They'll do fucking anything to anybody to make a fucking dollar. Fuck them. But let's talk about the reality of it. If it happens, if Shane McMahon joins Tony Khan as like a booker and slash writer, and creative, would it help AEW? Would something like that, if he really comes on, and we're not going to talk about anyone else coming on, we're just talking about Shane McMahon. If Shane McMahon comes on, would that help AEW?
No.
No. Why?
Because Shane McMahon was brought up in WWE looking at wrestling from within their idea of what wrestling is. And the whole point of AEW is to provide an alternative. So if you hire on, especially to put someone in creative, who I'm pretty sure, and I might be speaking out of turn here, he's only worked in WWE. Like, he's not worked in any of the independents that I know of.
No. Yeah.
So he has one way he's been taught things are done. And how old is he? Like 50 something? Right?
I believe so.
I feel like that's a lot of years. Not that old people can't learn new things, but I'm just saying, like, that's a lot of unlearning to have to do.
You're really ageist, you know that? People can change. Doesn't matter what age they're. People can change.
I am well aware people can change. I'm just saying, if you're brought up for like 50 something years thinking wrestling is one way, and then you get hired to help plan and run a company in that same business that wants to do things very differently, I think that's going to be a really difficult adjustment, because your mind, like, yes, I think eventually you could learn how to see it in a different way. But if you're asked to write stories and make product that, like, on starting day one, that goes with that new company and that new way of thinking, that adjustment period's not there.
Yeah. So here, Connie the cook here, this makes a comment here, says, if this is set up for Shane to come and do a takeover, it will suck. Put very well, very succinctly. I totally agree. Yeah, I have no interest in seeing that angle at all.
It's like
Faz B here, real quick, before we go on, says TV deal is around the corner. So we think. I would love to hear it. And Shane will create that buzz. He definitely would. Buzz is good for business, is what Faz B said. I mean, he's right about those two things. Yes, it would create a buzz, and definitely the ratings would go up at first for sure. Would they stay up? I don't know. So here's the thing I want to say about Shane.
Okay.
Is, you're talking about he's been in WWE his whole life and he thinks this way about wrestling. The one thing I want to say about him is, Shane has not been the top guy, top creative, top booker. He's never been that in WWE. So what Shane has had more of an opportunity to do is converse with the men and the women, to converse with them more about the things they want to do, what they want to accomplish, the creative direction they might want to take. Shane's had more time than that. Vince has all these fucking business decisions, booking decisions, blah, blah, blah. It's his way or the highway. I don't think Vince really cares what too many wrestlers think. But Shane, like I said, has been on the periphery of Vince. And I think, again, not to repeat myself, I think he's had more opportunity to know what the wrestlers want and don't want, and the ways they want to take their characters. And I think he's probably been more receptive to that. So I think that role of kind of being on the side of creative I think would help Shane, because AEW, that's what it's all about, is the wrestlers getting to do their thing, and if it works, that's great. Let's give it a try. That's what a lot of what the company is. That's a lot of why I love the company. Because that's what it's about. It's different than WWE. You like WWE, great. But I'm just saying that's why I like AEW, because it's different. It's a different feeling. There's a different purpose there. But again, not to get too far off. Yeah, Shane. I don't want it to happen, but again, if it happens, he may be very helpful. It may be very helpful. I don't want these like 5 minute entrances. I don't want every wrestler to have a little dance they fucking do when they come out. I don't want to have 2 minute TV matches, 4 minute TV matches, all that shit. I don't want any of that WWE stuff. So if he could keep his mind in the AEW way, but just bring in a different perspective and just be another person there to help, it could go well. It could go well. Like I said, I hope it never does, but just we're looking at the reality. If it happens, what do you think?
So, I know you think I'm ageist, but more than being ageist, I'm classist. And I feel like that dude has enough money. Let him fuck off and do his own company if he wants to. Like, leave AEW alone. Give that opportunity of booking to someone who needs a job and can bring a fresh, different perspective.
No. We're not talking about do we want it or not. We're talking about if it happens.
Oh, again?
And we're talking about if it really happens.
Yes, yeah.
Does it help or not?
Oh, I think that I forget who said it. I think it might have been Fasby. I think that it will definitely, at least briefly, increase ratings, but I think for probably the wrong reasons.
People would be interested. They want to see what happens.
Yeah, but I think, like you're saying, if he does it through 5 minute entrances and like dances and I'm just saying, like, I don't want WWE fans to start watching AEW because AEW has become more like WWE.
A little.
I want them to appreciate the AEW product for how amazing it is.
Yep.
And understand that, like, it's possible to have multiple wrestling companies that are different from each other.
Right.
And both can be good in their own way.
Right.
So I think that it would move the needle, but for the wrong reasons.
Let's see. Connie the Cook says Tony loves the sugar high. I don't know if you're talking about cocaine or what. His alleged cocaine use. I don't know. I don't know if there's any truth to that. I don't know if that's what you're talking about even. That's what it makes him think of. I don't know if he's a sugar addict. I'm a recovering sugar addict. Connie the Cook also says helps for a while till it doesn't. And that may be true. Yes, may be true. We see that a lot in wrestling relationships where they bring in somebody from the outside to help with booking, with writing. It helps at first because you got more people, more input. Everybody reaching for a common goal. But I can speak to it in business a lot of times when your partners and your titles are the same or they're so close to each other, there's going to be friction because everybody fucking thinks they're right. Everybody always thinks they're right. Very few people in this world can really put themselves in somebody's shoes and understand where they're coming from. Or I say very few people do that. Everybody could do that, but very few people think that way, I think. So that's why you get, and especially in wrestling, people think they're right and they know, and this is the way the company should be. This is who should be on top. This is who we should get rid of. Blah blah blah. So I think at some point, you're right, there would it helps for a while till it doesn't. Yeah, I think there would come a conflict at some point. Now Shane McMahon is not known for that. He's known for being pretty easy to work with, from what I've read. But if he's given more power in AEW, it might go to his head, and then there's a conflict with Tony because they want different things. They see, like Kay said, they see wrestling in different ways.
I'm gonna say one more thing.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, say one more thing, and we're done with the subject.
So, I don't know the McMahons, but I work with children, and parents can really fuck up their kids. And if your father is Vince McMahon, like, you gotta have some major issues as an adult, right? Apparently, Asa ran away. So that was sort of my finishing thought on that. And Shane McMahon, like, he really seems like a nice guy, and I feel bad talking shit about him because of his family, because that's kind of a shit thing to do to someone. But that family seems really shitty. But he is by far the best of them. Maybe it wouldn't be like totally detrimental, but if it's possible to keep him away from AEW, my vote would be to keep him away from AEW. I'm gonna pull up the comments real quick and see if anyone else. Yeah, it happens for a while until it doesn't. Okay, so while Ace is gone, I'm going to start talking about the news, which I don't know if this is the next segment, but since he's gone, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it right now. So he's coming back. Maybe I don't have to. Am I doing the news? I was starting the news since you weren't in here.
No.
No. Okay.
Right. And just one last thing, Shane and Tony Khan, they're both some I was just thinking of that, they're both, $1 billion babies,
Mhm.
the sons of these billionaires. So maybe they'd have a lot in common. Maybe they'd, personally,
Mhm.
that helps with business. If you do have personal experience and things like that, personal traits in common, it helps.
And of all the McMahons, like Shane really seems like a fan of wrestling.
I agree. Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
I agree.
and Tony Khan is very much a fan.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think that's important.
Like I said, I don't want it at all. But we're just trying to look from the perspective if it
Mhm.
happens. I mean, if it happens, I mean, obviously, I would cheer for it. Obviously, I'm not trying to I don't want to see AEW, crash and burn or anything. I don't want to see anybody involved with AEW do poorly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to cheer against Shane McMahon if he comes in. I'd try and be. I mean, I would hate it, but I would hate it. But again, I'm not cheering for him to fail. Yeah, I would still be rooting for them to be able to get along and put out a good product that is what AEW is meant to be. Tony Khan and the Bucks and Kenny Omega, uh, their original vision for what it's supposed to be. Right, an alternative, a different type of wrestling. So as long as they stick with that, I would root for them. And if they go too far from that, I definitely would not. I'd be off the Shane McMahon train. I don't want that stuff. I have no interest. I've seen it. I'm not interested in a lot of people aren't interested in all that stuff. But we're going to talk about a little more about that right now, just for a couple minutes. Do you have something else to say?
Well, I was gonna ask, so Shane McMahon, all of that's just internet speculation. If it's not Shane McMahon, where do you think Moxley is going with this?
Real quick, Connie the Cook says if they could make this a good angle, I'm all for it. Yeah, I mean, right. Try and look at it optimistically. I'll say again, I hate the idea. I hate it. I don't want it to happen. I want the McMahons as far away from AEW as possible. But right, like Connie the Cook is saying, try and look at it in a good way. If it does happen, if they could make it a good angle, I'm all for it. Right. I mean, and at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. That's what all this wrestling stuff is about. Who does it, who books it, who's better, who's worse, blah, blah, blah. It's about what do the fans want. That's the whole point of the thing. Uh, what's entertaining? What is going to entertain people is the whole point. So as Connie the Cook says, yeah, if they can make this a good angle, I'm all for it. Yeah, same thing. If it happens and they can make a good go of it and it entertains me, great. Yeah. I'll change my mind. I could change my mind if they entertain me. I mean, that's the whole point. That's the whole reason we watch all this.
As you've seen here tonight, Asa can be made to change his mind.
Of course, we analyze it too much. We analyze it to death.
Yeah.
But we enjoy doing that. But the point of it is fun, and all this stuff we talk about, and the rumors we read, and the news we read, and all that we talk about on the show. When I'm watching, I really try to forget all that stuff. I try as best as I can to forget all that because I want to be entertained. At the end of the day, that's what I want. It should be a fun time to sit down, for 2 hours, and you're not talking about the gate numbers, you're not talking about attendance, you're not talking about who said what about who. You just want to see some wrestling. So, yeah, right. If they can entertain us, great, good. And Connie the cook says, "I'll believe it when I see it," and I feel the same way. Yeah, I don't feel it happening, but yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah.
So now answer my question.
What?
If it's not Shane McMahon, what is Moxley? What's he talking about?
Yeah.
This was weird. It was also weird that he was talking to Darby, but looking and pointing directly into the face of Tony Schiavone. Like, this is no longer your company, Darby Allin, while I'm pointing at Tony Schiavone's face and not saying the name Darby Allin. Like, it was confusing to me.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think, personally, I don't think Moxley meant it literally. You know, when he says it's not your company anymore. But right, who was he talking about? He wasn't. He didn't seem to be talking to Tony Khan.
No,
the owner.
Yeah.
So,
and I didn't get that he was talking to Darby Allin because I don't think it's his company, and it's definitely not Tony Schiavone's company. So who was he talking
well,
to?
it could be Darby Allin in that he's a big fan favorite, and by speaking to him, Moxley's kind of talking to all the fan favorites. You know, Allin and Orange Cassidy and Bryan Danielson and all them. You know,
Moxley's a fan favorite.
But he doesn't seem that now. He came back. He seemed very heel, and really, he didn't seem to be too aligned with the BCC anymore.
Yeah, I think they're dead.
It seems like it's dead, but we'll see about that. That's a different issue. But yeah, what did he mean? I don't have a clue in the fucking world, honestly. You know, I like to, I like to guess. I like to talk about that, but I'm clueless. I have no idea where they're going with this.
And Mina Shafir is with him for some reason.
Yeah, right.
Also odd.
Yeah, he said I think he said something like this is, it's long due for this. Or this idea has been a long time coming.
I assumed that was a woman finally joining the BCC.
So did I.
But he's making it seem like the BCC doesn't exist anymore. Correct. So, what?
At least in his actions, yeah, because the BCC, that's weird. They're so weird because Danielson, definitely a face. Claudio, definitely a face. Wheeler Yuta, switches. Yeah, he can be a face. He can be a heel. When we saw him live, people didn't really seem to care much about him. I think he's a really talented guy. He needs just a couple things, and he'll really be there. I think he's very talented, but needs to do something different to get over with the fans. But what we're talking about, the BCC, does it exist or does it not? Because Moxley came back. He seems like a super heel.
Yeah.
And bald and just cryptic with the way he's talking. That's not
not fun music anymore.
Right. Those aren't things a face does. Yeah. So is it over? I don't know. And what does he mean by it's not your company? I don't know. Is it like a modern day? Are they going to do the NWO?
Well,
it's not your company anymore, right? Is he going to bring in Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, Cedric Alexander, and now I don't know. I know Bobby Lashley. I think he's not employed by WWE.
He's not.
I don't keep up with it. I don't know if Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin are. I'm just talking about this right now.
Shelton Benjamin was released almost a year ago, maybe a little less.
All right.
I believe Cedric still works there.
Okay.
I don't know for sure, but definitely Bobby and definitely Shelton.
And MVP, I think.
And MVP has also been let go, yeah.
So right. Say Moxley brings in, MVP and former world champion Bobby Lashley, multiple time world champion Bobby Lashley, and Shelton Benjamin, who's very talented, wrestled at a high level for years. Say he brings those three in, is that maybe the kind of thing he's talking about? Like I said, a modern day NWO type thing. Like they come from a different company and
that is
and they take over.
That is a horrible idea, because the NWO is so beloved that no matter how well they do this, if that's what they're doing, people are going to shit all over it because it's not the NWO. It's not an original idea. They're taking something from another company and just sticking new wrestlers who I don't think are as good as the original wrestlers in the storyline. They need, if they're making a big storyline push, it needs to be something that's not one of the best known storylines in wrestling. That would be so stupid.
I mean, people on the internet definitely would hate it and say it's been done and it's a copy, right? But with the fans, like we were just talking about, with the fans who aren't on the internet all the time, which I think most of the fans, Well, I don't know about AEW. Definitely most of the fans of WWE, but I don't know. Maybe most of the fans of AEW are on the internet. I'm not. I think they are. I think they are. So maybe my question doesn't mean anything because I think they are. But people online would definitely hate it. Yeah.
I think even not online. I think if you grew up knowing the original NWO storyline,
Yeah.
which like I didn't, but even that, like if you're replacing those wrestlers in the same story basically, and you're taking out Scott Hall and Diesel and Hulk Hogan, and you're putting in Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin and MVP, like those are that's not the same story, like in a bad way, you know? Like if you're gonna do it with the best wrestlers you've got.
Well,
but I say don't do it.
You know, it's a different generation now. Like I pointed out, Bobby Lashley has been world champion multiple times. Shelton Benjamin has been, I believe he's been United States champion. I mean, that's a big lineage on that belt. And he's been United States champion. I believe he's been Intercontinental champion as well. So that's your kind of Scott Hall figure. Lashley is kind of the Kevin Nash figure. Or put him in Hulk Hogan. Obviously, he's nowhere close, but just say he's Hulk Hogan. Who's the Kevin? Well, Hogan, you just ignore it. Bobby Lashley is the Nash figure because nobody else is Hulk Hogan. Lashley is the Nash figure. You know, Shelton Benjamin is the Hall figure, and then say they MVP is just there as like a manager, a hanger on, kind of like Ted DiBiase was with the NWO. Um, so you'd have part of it, and I think it could work. Now, do I want to see them do that? Not really. No. I mean, if they can make it interesting, sure. You know, company invasion angles have been done before. Now, maybe I think if they did it, they would put some new twist on it, so it's not just an NWO ripoff. But I could definitely see them doing kind of the angle we're talking about, where Moxley brings in, you know, a couple guys all at once and says, "This is how we're doing business now." You know, him and Lashley, Shelton Benjamin with MVP. I could see that as a pretty cool faction.
I cannot hate this idea more.
Okay, well, we're gonna go and talk about something else.
Okay, but before we do,
okay,
I don't care.
Always got to get the last word.
Yes, I don't care how many belts Bobby Lashley has. You are not putting him on the same level as Razor Ramon.
No, I said Shelton Benjamin was Razor Ramon. I said Bobby Lashley was Kevin Nash.
Oh, okay, I'd be okay with that. I thought you were putting Razor on the same level.
No.
No.
All right. I wasn't talking about how good they are. I was just saying comparing the you know, Kevin Nash was the world champion. Bobby Lashley's the world champion. Scott Hall was Intercontinental champion. Shelton Benjamin's been Intercontinental champion. That's all I meant. It's those spots.
But my point was comparing the caliber of wrestler, which I think is nowhere near each other.
Oh, I agree. No, yeah, it's nowhere near. And Connie the Cook here has a good comment. It says, so WWE send-offs are taking over AEW. What does that say? No, I totally agree. Yeah, like I said, I don't want it to happen. And that's a very good point. You know, what does that say?
Mm-hmm.
Right, when AEW is trying to build this brand and the WWE people come in and take it over, you're right. It would be a terrible idea. Yeah, you're right. And that's a very good point that we didn't make. Yeah, it would not look good for the AEW guys. I agree. Yeah, I'm not saying I want this to happen or it should. I'm just saying if that's what Moxley means, if, you know, he could mean that. I don't know what direction this is going in. I was just bringing up one way it could go.
I think the way that would make more sense would be to do it like the Outcasts angle in the women's division, but actually do it.
Yeah.
You know, like have these wrestlers join AEW, and then once there, form a like Outcast faction versus like the homegrown faction, which would also make sense with Moxley and Darby.
Yeah.
Because they're opposites.
Yeah, I'd like that.
And that could have been a really
NWO-ish also.
Yeah, but I feel like not as bad.
Yeah, I agree. No, if they just and Connie the Cook also saying Hall and Nash were top guys. Well, definitely. I mean, Nash was for sure. Hall was right there. I wouldn't call him a top guy when he left WWF. I mean, he was multi-time Intercontinental champion. Yeah, I mean, you know, very good wrestler, but I wouldn't have called him a top guy. But he was right under being a top guy, Scott Hall for sure. And Shelton Benjamin is no comparison to him. I'm just saying in that instance we're talking about Shelton Benjamin, compare him to Scott Hall. And Bobby Lashley, who is, I'm not a big fan of Kevin Nash, but Bobby Lashley is no Kevin Nash, at least by, you know, just his aura in wrestling. Not talking about their talent or anything. Just talking about their aura, their characters, the way they're seen. Yeah, Kevin Nash is like way bigger up than Bobby Lashley, you know. But yeah, who fucking knows where they're going? Like I said, I don't hope they go that way, at all.
Yeah.
But I could see it, and you know, if y'all have any guess as to, you know, this is not your company anymore, what Moxley means by that, you know, let us know. I don't have a clue, but it'll be interesting to see.
What else you got for?
All right.
Moving on.
I got one more thing, and then the top 5.
Okay. Are we skipping news today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless you got something really good.
No. We'll just.
Do you have that Ricochet quote?
I do.
Here, I want. This will work together. Actually.
Okay.
I saw a quote from Ricochet today from a CBS Sports.
CBS Sports.
From a CBS Sports interview, and I really I thought it was a really cool quote that kind of encapsulates what AEW is.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So, in an interview with CBS Sports, Ricochet said, "When AEW wrestlers get an opportunity to portray something to their specific fans, they get to do it in the way that they think would be best," Ricochet said. In WWE, they have a plan. They stick to that plan and get to that plan, good, bad, or ugly. I want to have that kind of freedom for Ricochet to really soar like I know he can. That fire was kindling. It's always been there, that love for professional wrestling, that love for the sport. My gas can was empty. The fire was there, but there needed to be some gas thrown on it to ignite it again and really get it started. That's what I wanted. Where would make me feel that the most? I know AEW is going to light that fire under me. End quote.
That's an awesome quote, I think. And I think it really gives us a great insight to the way wrestlers feel about AEW.
Mm-hmm.
And all these guys that have not the guys who have come up from the bottom, but the guys who have been on the top of the industry and have come. John Moxley, Bryan Danielson,
Adam Copeland.
Adam
I feel
Copeland.
like he was very clear about feeling that way.
Exactly. Adam Copeland.
Christian.
Fucking name all the WWE cast-offs. Jericho. Exactly, right.
Well, okay. Not all of those people are WWE cast-off.
I don't mean cast-offs. Okay.
Left.
That's the wrong word.
AEW.
That's the wrong word.
They said, "No, thank you, WWE.
You're right.
I'm moving on." Not the scraps that are left over.
That was the total wrong word.
Yeah.
I meant WWE. I should just say WWE, former WWE wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I said cast-offs. That's not what I meant at all. Thank you for correcting me there. That's not what I meant.
I'll always correct you.
I know. But yeah, that's my point. Just guys who have and gals who have been in the WWE system. And their Ricochet, it says exactly what it's like. They have an idea, and WWE, they're going to get to the end. They're going to go to the end of that idea, good, bad, or ugly.
Yeah,
because they've got so much money at stake.
Mm-hmm.
They put so much money into everything. They have to go to the end. Yeah. In rare cases, will they interrupt things, but most of the time, it goes from the beginning to the end, no matter if it stinks or not. And you know, and despite any say from the wrestlers involved or managers involved,
or the fan reactions,
a lot of times, like there's
motherfucking Sammy.
Yeah, Sami Zayn.
Oh, yeah, with Roman, come on.
Yeah, but yeah, a lot of examples. Now there's the rare thing like Kofi Mania. That was awesome. That was great. But that's the exception. Mm-hmm. You know, when I'm talking about WWE listening to the fans, that's the exception. And we're not a show where we don't trash WWE. We don't do that. We don't, whatever. We've trashed them enough. But yeah, that's just the point. And Ricochet, how he laid out the differences, mm-hmm. and what this company is to wrestlers, mm-hmm. is what I like about it. I like mm-hmm. that the wrestlers are happy and they feel creative, mm-hmm. and they feel free to do what they want to do. That's why I like it better, because guys and gals seem like they want to be there. They seem like they enjoy it, really. Yeah. That's what I like about it. Thanks for reading that quote.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to talk about something for just a couple minutes, and then we're going to do the top 5 rankings. Okay. Well, and then I'm going to do tell you upcoming matches real quick, and then do top 5 rankings. All right. And I just want to talk about this for just 2 or 3 minutes.
What is it?
This week, Dynamite was only 40% wrestling. It was 60% other stuff. Collision, though, was the opposite. Collision was 60% wrestling and 40% other stuff. And actually, we're not going to talk about Rampage, but just Rampage was like 65%. Rampage is always the show, AEW show, with the most wrestling on it.
The higher percentage.
Percentage wise. But Rampage aside, we're talking about Dynamite at 40%, Collision at 60%. Is this a bad thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Talk about it. What's bad? Both of them? Both the numbers? Or just the Dynamite number?
Just the Dynamite. Like, I would prefer a higher number for Collision. Like 60% is not enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that I'm in the majority there.
But that's gone.
Like,
it used to be the almost the opposite for Dynamite. It used to be like Dynamite would usually be like 60 or 55, and now it's down to 40 last week. Because I'd say the first half of Dynamite last week sucked.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from, I think MJF was on.
He was, and it was great.
And that was great. The rest of that first half of Dynamite was one of the worst hours of TV AEW has ever done, I would say.
Well, and I don't know which hour it came on, but like some of their story segments were so unnecessary. Like the stuff with Mercedes Moné Private Party and Okada. What was the fucking point of that?
That was so
dumb. They like to party?
That was so dumb.
Like, it's just a waste of everyone's time.
That made me feel hate.
Yeah.
Whoever came up with that segment, I hate them. Like, we're turning this backstage, like, 15 by 10 area into obviously the backstage of an arena, turning it into a club.
With like 4 people in it?
Yeah, like 4 people.
2 of them are Private Party.
Right. No, there's like 8 people total.
Yeah.
2 of them are Private Party. One was, who else was in it?
Camille. Mercedes. Okada. And then there were 2 people that I didn't recognize sitting in the back.
Okay. But the whole part was what? Like, Okada, what happened? Somebody took a drink, yeah?
Like, I don't even want to, do we have to do this? Like, do we have to talk about this? It was stupid.
We'll just say that. It was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Number one, if you're going to shoot in a bar, you got billions of dollars. Go to a fucking bar. Shoot it. Mm-hmm. WWF did that when they wanted a bar. They shot it.
Well, plus most arenas have bars.
Exactly. Go to the arena bar. Yeah. Precisely.
Yeah.
Good point.
Thank you.
Like, don't make a little fucking room. What are you doing? That looks so lame. This is a company that's trying to get like a $2 billion, $1 billion TV deal. Mm-hmm. They're trying to get that, and they've already got a giant TV deal. And you're making this little 15 by 10 fake bar that makes them look so rinky-dink. Yeah. And aside from the setting, what happened was so stupid. Yeah. It was so, and again, I don't, we've done more WWE trashing than usual tonight, but that is so, what happened was so WWE, I hated it. Like, it was just silly. The wrestlers just had stupid things to say. It didn't do anything to further their characters, to build up to a match. Nothing. It was just silly fluff for 2 minutes. It was a waste of fucking time. And shit like that is right. It's stuff that can easily be just counted out.
And give me a 2-minute longer match.
Exactly.
Or a good one. Like, or put a 5th match on your wrestling show. God forbid there should be more than 2 matches per hour.
Yeah. So we don't like to usually be negative, but this calls for it. This we really try and look at the best of things because we love AEW, but 40% of the show wrestling for Dynamite, that is not, that to me as a fan, not acceptable.
Yeah. It's like upsetting as
it is. Yeah, I agree.
Because like I realize I am not in the norm, but I stopped watching WWE because there wasn't enough wrestling on it. And so I switched to AEW for many reasons, but that being the largest reason. And at first, like, I didn't even give a shit about stories. Like, Ring of Honor, honestly, was my favorite because it had almost no stories and like 11 matches per show. Yeah. And so to go so far away from that, like, AEW was like a good middle ground where you get like 6 to 7 matches, usually fairly longer in length than WWE matches and Ring of Honor matches with like a little bit of story sprinkled in. But AEW has made me appreciate stories, which I have not done in the past. but I don't want that to be at the expense of wrestling.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I watch a wrestling show instead of like a drama or a comedy on TV because I want to see fucking wrestling.
Exactly. Yeah. And the way I put it, now I think we differ on this a bit. And Connie the Cook said WWE 2017. Yeah, that's the way it feels. Fucking yeah, Jesus. Those were dark days when we didn't even have AEW.
Yeah.
If you liked wrestling, you had to watch WWE and just find the gold and find the gold nuggets in the pile of shit.
And we didn't. We just stopped watching wrestling at that point.
Well, in 2017 we did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
2017.
like,
yeah.
Bray Wyatt's cool and
Yeah.
who else? Like Bray Wyatt. Anyways, but yeah, we differ, I think, a little. And she's talking about she likes all the matches, blah blah blah. And we were talking about this last night actually, and I said, for me, what I want out of wrestling, I want to see people with larger than life personalities, fighting over a stake. You know, whether it's like an object. I've used this example in the past, whether it's like you stole my jacket. That's enough. That's enough. You don't have to make these grand stories where there's some mastermind or this or that. It doesn't have to be big like that. It can be as simple as like you stole my jacket,
or you sold my Dynamite diamond ring.
Yeah, you saw exactly there. That's a good story. MJF and Daniel Garcia. They did too much talking about it, but yeah, that's a good story. We know that means something. MJF, Daniel Garcia stole it. Bam. We don't need to make it any more convoluted than that.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that should be the angles that they're doing, and talk about them less. Like I said, 60% of other stuff, 40% of wrestling, unacceptable for AEW.
Yeah.
It should be, I feel like, reversed. Like Collision was 60% wrestling, 40% other stuff. Great balance. Like if the majority of the show is not wrestling, I'm not with that. Like I don't like that at all.
Even 50%. Like I need more than 50%.
Even 50%, I agree. I mean, like 55, 60% is what I would like. Even like 65, like Rampage is like 65.
Give me 75.
No.
Give it to me.
Maybe like 60 to 65 would be nice. Yeah, percent wrestling. I don't know if we'll get that from Dynamite anymore. Might go as high as 60, maybe like 58, something like that. But that's aside from my point, talking about little numbers. My point is, I don't like the direction Dynamite is headed in if they're going to keep doing shit like they did last week. If they're going to keep running the show like they did, that's not good, because that first hour of Dynamite was horrid. They saved it with two really good matches in the second hour, but the first hour was horrid. It was a waste of time. If I didn't have to cover it, for this show, I wouldn't have watched it. I would have watched MJF.
Yeah.
But that's it. I wouldn't have watched the rest, honestly. So they need to not head that direction. I don't think we're the only ones who feel like that either.
No, for sure.
I don't want to see them heading that way at all.
Do you think it was just because All In was the Sunday before and like people stayed over in England to do some like media stuff? And
no, I think
trying to make excuses.
I think what it is, and I hope what it is All Out is Saturday. It's just 2 weeks or what? All In was on a Sunday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Not even 2 weeks. It's 13 days after All In.
So they got to cram the stories down your throat before they get to the matches.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I interrupted her while she was talking. Say what you said.
Which is now?
Yeah.
I said so they were shoving the stories down our throats so that when they get to the pay-per-view in 13 days, there are stories for the matches.
Exactly. That's what I hope and what I think was happening.
Yeah.
So I hope I'm right. But even if that's what they're doing, they can do it with less talking.
Or they can put more than 13 days between their pay-per-views.
The All Out and All In.
Stupid.
I don't want to keep being negative. I don't, but...
No, we love AEW. We love almost everything about AEW. We want it to be better.
Yeah.
These are ways it can be better.
Yeah. I mean, if you watch and listen to our show, we really aren't negative. We aren't negative very much. We're just talking about a couple of housekeeping things.
If you love something, you want it to grow and be the best it can be.
Right.
So you talk about problems so they can be fixed. He's not talking to me. He's talking to the dog.
Yeah, I was talking to the dog, not her.
Stop saying nice things about AEW. All right. So what's next? She's okay.
Exactly. We want it to grow in the way that it was intended to, and like Ricochet's quote. And he was talking about, I think the most interesting part about his quote is it still pulled up? No, it's not. But I'll tell you,
scroll up.
It doesn't matter. I'll tell you the most interesting part about the quote to me. The most impactful part is when he said, my gas can. Looking at it that way, my gas can was empty. Meaning, his drive, his inner drive, to do this and to be the best. Because that's the thing. This guy, when you let him go, when you let him do his thing, which WWE was not doing, in the ring, when you let him do his thing, he's one of the top 10 wrestlers in the world. No debate. One of the top 10 wrestlers in the world. And so for him to say that, my gas can was empty and I needed something to ignite it, and AEW was it. That's not just the way wrestlers feel. That's like, as a fan, that's the way I felt.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching WWE just because I love wrestling, and it was, it was entertaining to a point back in like 2019, say. But really, I was watching it because it was the only game in town. ECW's bought, WCW's bought, like they became a monopoly, and the product really went downhill after that. And a lot of us were watching it just because that's it. That's all that's on. You can talk about NWA, TNA, blah blah blah, but as far as a big company, that was it.
And then along came a little miracle.
Yeah, yeah. and just like I said, I think AEW needs to keep in mind, like I said, just what Ricochet said, that he had an empty gas can, and this company has now come along, and now he's getting to leave, and it's filled his gas can. It's going to ignite, and I just think that's a great way to explain what AEW is supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I think anything that gets away from that, I think is a bad thing. Let's see. Connie the Cook says, when I first tuned in to AEW, I knew I was going to be entertained. Not anymore. Oh, that's a shame. But I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
I'd say up until the last few weeks, I felt that way about Collision.
Yeah.
Collision was getting to the point where it was like, oh my God, do we have to keep reporting on this? But the last few weeks have been awesome.
The last 2 weeks have been, Collision's been better than Dynamite.
Correct.
2 or 3 weeks, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Definitely the last 2 weeks. But yeah, that sucks to hear. I hate to hear that, Connie.
Yeah.
But I know what you're saying. Yeah, when I first tuned in, I knew I was in for 2 hours of just awesome stuff. Maybe one shitty match, but mostly 2 hours of awesome stuff, and very little talking. Very little talking, just enough to set things up a little.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people want out of the company. That's what I want. That's what we want. Sounds like that's what you want. Mm-hmm. So don't fuck it up, AEW. Please keep it what it was meant to be. Keep it what it's supposed to be. That's where your audience came from. That's why you have anybody watching it. It's because that's what we wanted, for the most part. So yeah, don't fall away from from what got you here. Don't do it, because if you play WWE's game, you're gonna get crushed. You don't want to do that. You don't want to become them, because you're always going to be second place. It's this giant company. You're not trying to compete with them. You're trying to be different. You got to keep that in mind. You got to be different. You got to be, or you're going to die.
And AEW is where the best wrestle, so let them wrestle.
Well put.
Thank you. A
little cheesy, but well put.
No, whatever. If you're going to shove that slogan down my freaking throat multiple times every episode, you better fucking do it.
I agree. Yeah, we're the best.
You're not just collecting all the best wrestlers in the world to stick them in a bar to tell me to sayonara, bitch. Please.
Exactly.
Put them in a ring.
Speaking of which, t-shirt check. We didn't do.
Oh, I don't have a.
Kay Fabulous was not wearing a wrestling t-shirt.
Sorry, guys. I had a late meeting.
Speaking of sayonara, bitch, I got my awesome Okada shirt. This was an AEW crate exclusive. Mm-hmm. If you want to see my review of AEW's latest Elite crate that included this Okada shirt, that is on YouTube. So just look for AEW Elite crate. I think it's what's
called. Elite crate.
All Elite crate. But I want to see Okada wrestle and show us why he's one of the best in the world. Mm-hmm. I don't want to hear him saying "sayonara, bitch" in a comedy skit with Private Party and Mercedes Moné.
What a good segue to our upcoming matches.
In a fake bar.
So this.
And wait, Connie the Cook, I want to say had one thing. Said you can only be beat so long. That's very true, and we'll leave it on that. I think. doesn't really encapsulate what we were talking about, but that's a great quote. And here, Fazby, one more, says, when do you think we'll see Brits again after that? Oh, after that sandbagging match against Monet. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what was up with that match. And it's interesting. He's talking about the match at All In where Baker got the TBS title shot. It's interesting. They haven't mentioned that match since it happened.
Monet mentioned it in an interview, and she
said, not in an interview. I'm talking on TV.
No, I'm saying in an interview because I read it when I was reading stuff for the news, which we're not doing. But she said like she could feel while the match was going on that it was like dragging for the audience, like the audience wasn't fully invested.
Yeah, definitely. Didn't hold my attention at all, and I was looking forward to it. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah. I think Britt just needed more matches back before going into the largest show of the year.
Yeah, they rushed it. They rushed it because they wanted to do it for All In, and they totally rushed it and messed it up. Connie the Cook, sorry to be a downer. No, it's fine. No, we were all complaining, and now we're done.
No, maybe not.
We're gonna be positive for the rest of the show. We don't mean to be a downer either. We just, like I said, when we see something that is wrong with what we love, we need to help correct it. Mm-hmm. That's all.
We're the same way with each other.
Yeah, sure. And Fazby said, I think Britt got a little jealous. I feel like you're right. Yeah. There's a new game in town. Yeah. Mm-hmm. There are a couple new games in town. Yeah. Mercedes, Tony's bigger than Britt was, and Mariah May as well. Yeah.
She needs to step up her wrestling if she wants to hang with them.
Totally. Yep.
Right. Are we good for?
Yes. Let's go to.
So Dynamite card?
Yeah, tell us what's on Dynamite tomorrow night.
Yeah, so tomorrow night we only have 2 matches that I could find that have been announced. One is a Continental title match where Okada is putting his belt on the line against Kyle Fletcher. I love all the matches Kyle Fletcher is getting.
Awesome.
And then our new Women's World Champion is putting her belt on the line. Wait, is it a belt? I think it's a title match. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I'm reading it.
Sorry, I'm reading it off of my list where I typed things. Anyway, she's wrestling Nyla Rose. Pretty sure it's a championship match.
Okay.
Friday, we only have 1 match announced for Collision. It is the House of Black versus the MXM Collection in a Friday night fashion fight. Because remember, Collision is Friday night this week.
Talk about bullshit I don't want on my TV.
Don't you dare!
Friday night fashion fight?
Okay. So 1, it involves the House of Black.
Yeah, which is why it sucks.
No,
why it's dumb.
Let me finish. And so 2, it features MXM, which I find absolutely hilarious.
They're fun.
And they're good wrestlers.
They're all right.
They're all right. I mean,
what's his name? The smaller one. I know. There's
Sultan of Suave was.
I forget his name.
Mansoor.
Mansoor.
Yeah.
Much better than the other guy.
Yeah.
Mason Madden, whatever his name is.
Yeah, doesn't.
He's good. I'm sure it's good.
Mason's good.
He's okay.
He does some cool stuff.
But tell us what it is again. Is that it?
It's a Friday night fashion.
Yeah, fuck that. That's on Collision?
Yeah, well, I believe it's Fashion Week. At least that's what they said is the reason why this is happening. And so that's why, don't make that face. But, okay, in AEW's defense, Malachi Black is, as far as I know, maybe Jericho has his own, but Malachi Black is the only wrestler with his own fucking clothing line.
Yeah, true.
So, whatever. Black mask, I believe.
That's in reality, though. That's not part of his character. He's but yeah, remember, like you said, Collision is on Friday this week because the pay-per-view is Saturday night. So Collision is on at 8 on Friday.
It's going up against SmackDown.
Yeah, and Rampage is on at 10 on Friday. And we will be here for the whole thing. We will be watching it with you 8 to 11, actually 7:55 to 11. So yeah, join us Friday. Like I said, we'll be here for Dynamite tomorrow night. We'll be Thursday 7. We have our. I'll go over it in a minute. Yeah. Are those the only upcoming matches?
Well, and All Out. Do you want me to?
Can I read it real quick?
The All Out card.
Let me read it.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, just real quick, we got the All Out card, and so we're not going to really get into the matches at all.
We're just going to list them.
We're just going to list them. Maybe say one brief thing, and but Thursday we are going to get into the matches, deep into the matches and the angles going on. Thursday, 7 p.m. Myself, Kay Fabulous, and our friend Wolf are going to host the No Bones About Wrestling All Out Prediction and Preview Show. So 7 p.m. Thursday, X on Twitch and on YouTube. So join us. All right, so for All Out, we got MJF versus Daniel Garcia. Should be good. We got Swerve Strickland versus Hangman in a steel cage, which I think is going to be the main event because it's in a cage.
Yeah.
I think it should be the main event. I think that's going to be great. TBS title, Mercedes Moné versus Hikaru Shida. If they give him some time, this could be very good. CMLL women's title. Willow Nightingale defends against Chris Statlander in a Chicago street fight.
Yeah.
We'll see about this one.
Don't you dare say that. They've been in street fights before that have been very good.
Yeah. The women in AEW are...
I'm talking about these two specifically.
Oh, okay.
They were in a street fight as a tag team against Mercedes Martinez and Diamante, and it was awesome.
Okay. International title. Will Ospreay defends his belt against 1/3 of the Trios champions, Pac. Should be great. I think it'll be the match of the night. I think a lot of people think that'll be the match of the night. And then we got the world title match. Bryan Danielson defends against TNT champion, member of the Elite, Jack Perry.
Boo.
I'm not... I like Jack Perry. I think he's got a lot of potential. I really do. I think he's improved a lot. I don't know about this title shot, though, but we're going to talk about all that on Thursday.
Yeah, I got lots of thoughts.
Yeah. So, last thing, and Connie the cook says, good card so far. I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's a very good card.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, my only questions are, Willow and Statlander, are they going to like really go at it in that street fight? I think so.
There was blood everywhere in the last one they did.
That, and like I said, Danielson and Jack Perry, they had, I mean, it'll be a good match. I think it has the possibility of being a very good match, but just they haven't like set it up in any way that feels like these two guys should be wrestling each other or want to be wrestling each other, or they just did an open challenge.
Have they been in the same room recently? Like, when was the last time you saw them together?
I don't know. I assume we'll see them tomorrow night.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Yeah.
It's weird.
But what we're talking about is one of the things that happens when you put a pay-per-view 2 weeks after another pay-per-view. Now, I'm not talking about the quality. All In was fucking awesome. All Out, I think, is going to be fucking awesome. All the AEW pay-per-views except World's End last year are fucking awesome. Like, they always deliver. I'm not talking about that. Like I said, just 2 weeks after, or can you really get like, do you really want to be asking people for like $40, $50 again 2 weeks after? And do you really want to just bless you?
Yeah.
Do you really just want to give yourself 13 days to build a whole pay-per-view card? Bless you.
Okay, sorry.
You shouldn't, and it's something I think they need to fix also. But yeah, good card. Yeah,
Plus,
definitely looking forward to
you had 2 contests to determine number 1 contenders for shows later on, and this is just like anybody who wants to is like step up. Oh. Like Darby won a title run or title shot at Grand Slam.
Yep.
Christian won an anytime title shot.
Right.
And then like all of a sudden the first defense is going to be just like whoever says me first.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, it's
odd.
Yeah, they've the world title picture right now. It felt solid when Swerve had it. I mean, Danielson's a great guy to have the world title. Don't get me wrong, but just the world title picture feels muddled right now. Because, like Kay said, Darby Allin has at Grand Slam on September 25th has a guaranteed title shot. Christian, as she said, can challenge for the belt at any show, anytime. But then we got Jack Perry just inserted because he came out first, and then a brand new champion who hasn't made any defenses yet. So yeah, and we'll talk about all this on Thursday too.
Well, Andy said that when he loses the belt, he's done.
Right. Yes, he said he's done as a full-time wrestler when he loses the belt. So that's interesting. Yeah.
All right. Sorry, go ahead. Top 5.
So Connie the cook said no setup AEW for you. Sometimes, unfortunately, yeah, that's true.
They've really moved away from that, but I feel like
they've been doing a better job.
Like you said, with them so close together, like there's not a lot you can do.
Yeah. True.
Right.
All right, and Gonna do one more thing here, and then I'm gonna tell you something you probably want to hear after that. So stick around. AEW top five. These are your AEW top 5 rankings for September 3rd, 2024. We slave over these rankings. We have adjusted them and de-adjusted them and readjusted them so they can be the most accurate AEW rankings on the internet.
And possibly the only ones now.
And possibly the only ones on the internet, yeah. We've been doing this longer than AEW has. So, okay. We rank the top 5 men, the top 5 women, and the top 5 teams every week. So, Kay, what should we start with?
Let's start with teams.
Teams. Weird picture this week. Weird team picture. Number 5, the World Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks, who didn't wrestle. We saw them. They didn't wrestle this week. We saw them defend their belts against the Acclaimed and FTR at All In. But yeah, nothing this week, which is why they're number 5. Number 4, former world champ Double J and former Ring of Honor world champ Jay Lethal. They won that 3-way tag match on, what was that on? Dynamite or Rampage?
That was on Rampage.
On Rampage. They won that match. Number 3 this week, the Bang Bang Gang, the trios team of Juice Robinson and the Guns. They got the win over
the Premier Athletes on Collision.
Yep. Number 2, a team I really enjoyed. I think both of us really enjoyed, and they were in the match of the week. They won the match of the week. Orange Cassidy, former international champ Kyle O'Reilly, and the undefeated Hologram. Awesome team, great team. I hope they do more with those 3.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't want Mark Briscoe to get left.
I know. I think it'll be more of Orange, O'Reilly, and Briscoe. I don't think Hologram's gonna do a lot with them right now. And the number 1 team this week, FTR. They came in, former tag champs, of course. They came in and beat the former Ring of Honor tag champs, the Undisputed Kingdom, in a good match. So yeah, number 1, FTR. Number 2, Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, and Hologram. Number 3, the Bang Bang Gang. Number 4, Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. Number 5, the Young Bucks. So what we do, men or women?
Men.
Men. Number 5 this week, Kyle Fletcher, the young up-and-comer who, man, he is intense in his matches. I love it. He won one and he lost one this week. He beat Ishii, and he lost to Ricochet in a very good match. Both those were good, and the match against Ricochet, very good. She thinks less of it than I do. I thought it was very good.
It was good. It just wasn't up to what I expected.
Yeah, it's pretty goddamn good.
It was good.
Ricochet looked great in that match. Number 4, former world champ, heading into like I said, I think he's heading into the all-out main event in the steel cage. Hangman Adam Page in the cage. Number 3, the newest member of AEW. He is 1-0. Ricochet put on an awesome performance in a victory over Kyle Fletcher. Number 2, Jack Perry, the AEW TNT champion, the man who literally made his own TNT title belt. He made it from nothing and smelted the metal and cut it and all that stuff. Literally made the belt. He's getting a shot against number 1, Bryan Danielson, the AEW World Champ, who is on a streak and says when he loses, that's the end of his full-time career. So number 1, Bryan Danielson. Number 2, Jack Perry. Number 3, Ricochet. Number 4, Hangman Adam Page. Number 5, Kyle Fletcher. Connie the Cook says Perry killed AEW. No. All right, now we're going to close with the women. Number 5, from Stardom. She's been guesting in AEW a little here. Mina Shirakawa beat a jobber. Number 4, she put in an excellent performance in the TBS title shot match. Former world champ Thunder Rosa, number 4. Number 3, She beat Harley Cameron on Dynamite, and that is the returning Jamie Hayter.
Former AEW Women's Champion.
Thank you, former AEW World Champ. Number 2, the number 1 contender for the TBS title. She's facing Monet at All Out for the belt, and that is former world champion, former 3-time world champion, Hikaru Shida. And almost feels weird her going for the
it's cool though.
TBS
she hasn't
belt.
had it,
Right.
so that's nice.
Yeah.
But I don't think she'll have it.
I mean, that belt is definitely heightened by having Monet with it now.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And the number 1 woman, of course, the AEW World Champ, Mariah May. So we got number 1, Mariah May, number 2, Hikaru Shida, number 3, Jamie Hayter, number 4, Thunder Rosa, number 5, Mina Shirakawa. And those are your top 5 rankings for this week. And like I said, now I got something I want to say real quick. First, I'll tell you our schedule again for this week, and then I got the thing I want you to hear. All right, Wednesday night we are doing a watch along of Dynamite starting at 7:55. Thursday night we are doing our All Out preview and prediction show. It'll be me, Kay Fabulous, and Wolf making previews and not making previews. We're going to be previewing the matches. We're going to be making predictions, and of course, between the 3 of us at the pay-per-view, whoever gets the most predictions right wins the No Bones About Wrestling Prediction Championship belt. And yes, this is the ECW World title, but it is now the Predictions World title. So the winner gets this, and Wolf is the current champion, but he lives in Michigan, so he doesn't have the actual belt. But it is his right now.
He carries it in his heart.
Yeah, he's been the champion for a month and a half right now. So yeah, Thursday, the preview and predictions. Friday at 7:55, we're going to do a watch along because Collision's on Friday and so is Rampage. And then Saturday at 6:55, we're going to do the 0 hour and then the All Out pay-per-view watch along. So yeah, a lot of us this week. Hopefully you enjoy us. Hopefully you want to talk to us and hear us and all that stuff. And I'm going to put all that schedule, I'm going to put it on X and probably put it in some other places, but definitely on X, on our X account, which is at No Bones Wrestling. That's at No Bones RASSLIN. Yeah, that whole schedule. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 days in a row, and it'll be 5 after today. And Connie the cook says, "Wow, let's go!" Yeah, awesome, thank you. But yeah, it'll be like the most shows we've ever done in a row, 5. So we can do it. It'll be fun. All right, and now the announcement. It's nothing huge, but it's a fun thing we wanted to do. We're going to do a giveaway. We wanted to do something to give back to the viewers and the listeners. And thank you all for watching, listening live, and thank you to those who are listening or watching after the fact. This is open to everyone. So we're doing a giveaway, and we're doing a giveaway for this Darby Allin plush doll. This was only available in the AEW All Elite crate. Yeah, you could not get this without being subscribed to the crate. But here we got Darby. We got his makeup. We even got his skeleton tattoo on this hand, on his chest. It says, "Nothing's over till you're underground."
I think it's cool that on the back you can see like his fingers.
Oh yeah, good call. Yeah, and so there he is, just for all the front detail.
Yeah.
He's even got a little heart on his boot there. And on the back, he's got on the back, as Kay just said, yeah, you can see his fingers.
He's got his hood.
As he's posing.
His ears.
And he's got his little hood back here. Right. But yeah, like I said, this little Darby Allin doll can be yours. All you need to do, and I'm going to post this on X as well. So just on X, I wrote it down.
So, do you want me to tell?
No, I wrote it down. I'm going to tell them.
Okay.
Where the fuck did I write it?
I don't know.
Oh, here's where I write
Okay.
it. On X, I'm going to put a post about this giveaway. I'm going to put it on in like the next like 10 minutes. As soon as we're done, I'm going to put it online. So just like the post, follow us if you're not already following us, retweet the post. And do we say in post? No, we don't need to do that. Yeah, so just like the post, follow us on X if you're not already, and retweet the post about this contest. You do those three things, or entered. We are gonna give it away Saturday during All Out, during our coverage of All Out. So yeah, join. You can only enter once, obviously, but yeah, join, and you will get this nice little Darby Allin plush in the mail. That again was exclusive to the AEW All Elite crate. That's the only way you can get this.
Are we mailing that internationally, or do they need to be like?
No. I'm sorry. Yes, U.S. only. U.S. This is open to U.S. only.
Yeah. Sorry, everybody else.
Yeah.
Maybe at one point we'll have
Yeah.
wider things, but
No Hawaii, no Alaska, the lower 48 states, U.S. only. So sorry to our international viewers, but yeah, we're not shipping it all over the world. Sorry. So yeah, just the lower 48 states. And to get, you can get 2 entries. So for 1 entry, again, like the post, follow us, and retweet the post. That gets you 1 entry. For entry number 2, go and subscribe to us on YouTube.
And send us a screenshot of the subscribe screen.
Can we not see a list?
Well, is their Twitter name going to be the same as their YouTube name?
Oh, that's a good call.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Damn it. How do we do that?
We'll be posting later about how to
we'll be doing posting later about how to do the YouTube part.
That's why we wanted to talk about it before the show.
Well, whether it's part of the contest or not, go follow us on YouTube. Because if we can figure out who you are, you'll get 2 entries. But yeah, like I said, just real quick, I'm going to put the post in like 10 minutes. Like the post, follow us, and retweet the post. And Saturday, this guy is going to head to, it'll be mailed on Monday, obviously. And this guy is going to a lucky fan.
Look how cute.
He's very cute. And Eric Tate says, do you think AEW will do a show at MSG? At some point I do, but I don't know. They've been WWE exclusive for so long. I don't know. I don't really know the business, the contract that they have with WWE, but I do know money talks, and Tony Khan has a lot of it, so it's very possible. Yeah. And that has been AEW Weekly for this month. For this week, we want to thank everybody who talked to us. Eric Tate, Connie the Cook, Faz B for talking to us. Who else? Somebody else talked to us. Connie the Cook did a lot, but we appreciate it. We love talking to y'all. Keeps us on our toes, makes the show different than we planned, but that's fine. But yeah, thanks for talking to us, and everybody, if you don't, post, talk to us, ask us a question. Agree with us, disagree with us, whatever. As long as you're a nice person, we want to hear from you, and we want to hear what you have to say. So thank you for watching. And last time, tomorrow night, Dynamite Watch Along. Thursday night, 7 p.m., All Out Preview and Prediction Show. Friday night, Collision and Rampage Watch Along. Saturday, All Out 0 Hour and All Out Watch Along. And I'm going to post that schedule, and I'm going to post the contest post as soon as we are off. Thank you for watching. Darby, thank you for being here. And that's it. So, as Mick Foley would say, have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.